What's up? 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 What is up? How are y'all doing today, guys? It is Friday, and you know what that means. That means we're gonna have us a good old time tonight. I am your host, Emmanuel Noisette, and I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out tonight and hanging out with your boy. In case you are new here, we are going to be covering the news from the week. We have a couple movies that are coming out. This week, Civil War is coming out this week, so I will be giving you guys my quick review on what I thought about the film. I believe next week or the week after that will be Challengers. That's the Zendaya movie, so I'll give you a review on that. And then, of course, during this week, we got a bunch of movie news, and that was from CinemaCon that just took place. So we'll kind of go over the brief things that happened, and I'll kind of catch you up on some of the stuff, some of the news from CinemaCon from each of the studios. And of course, we'll have some other things to talk about as well. If you are new here, I welcome all of you on whatever platform that you are watching. Shout out to Facebook, Twitter, all of that. But I'd be lying if I told you YouTube is not the place to be, because this is exactly where you want to be with the rest of the E-fam chiming in, letting us know your thoughts as we go through. And, listen, it is free for you to come and join as well. But I only ask just one thing. Just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I know a lot of people might be watching. You're tuning in for the lives. You enjoying yourself on the replays. Shout out to the replay gang. But it'll help a brother out. Just hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and feel free to hit that notification bell just so that you don't miss on the good stuff that I got coming, because y'all don't understand. I got a couple things ready for y'all in the chamber, and I don't want you to miss it. So make sure you subscribe as well. So before we get started, let's do some quick shout outs to those of you that showed up nice and early. And let's see, hold on, let's get there we go. Paulette, what is up? How are you? Thank you so much for making it. My man Dexter Reason, good to see you again. Ism, what is up? Good to see you. Mr. Mitchell, what is up? Thank you so much for being here. My man Reese is back. Thank you so much for being here. Jay, what is up? Jerome, how you doing? What is going on? Ms. Harper, wouldn't be alive without you. Thank you so much for being here. Last of my kin is here. I see you. My man Terrence is back. Thank you so much, brother. What is going on with the homie Rhonda? Good to see you. We got the other homie, Zia Latrice. Thank you so much for being here. 60 plus. Thank you so much for being here. Nighthawk, hello. Steven, what is up? Good to see you. Rachel, thank you so much for making it back. Mr. Icon, I appreciate you holding it down. Come on through. We got Kristen Pratt. You already know what it is. Thank you so much for holding it down with the rest of the mod squad. Johnny Washington, my man, what is up? We got my other brother here, Minister Crush. How you doing? Good to see you. Corey, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you always. Talented one, good to see you again. Real, what is up? Good to see you. My man Pierre is back in action. Good to see you too. Let's see. Shar, thank you so much for making it back. I appreciate you. Tyra, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. Tasha, good to see you as well. Thank you so much. Nelson, good to see you. Man, listen, if y'all missed it, you need to go watch that X-Men 97 episode 5 breakdown, that live reaction review that we did earlier. You got to go there. You got to go there. And for those of y'all that are wondering, I got some information for y'all. Please stay tuned. If you are a fan of X-Men 97, I just got done doing my interviews with a lot of the creatives. I asked some questions that y'all asked. I asked some questions that, maybe y'all didn't think about. But we got some good information. We got some good things, and we cleared up some things as well. So make sure you tune in. But you got to be subscribed and have those notifications on to know what I'm talking about. And you don't want to miss that. Let's see. Tracy, good to see you. Tasha, thank you so much. Let's see, who else did I get? DJ, what is up? Good to see you again. Hold on. Okay, did I get you? I don't know if I did. Okay, Calpay, what's up? Good to see you. Raymond, how you doing? Almighty, how you doing? Rabia, good to see you again. CJ, my man, what's up? Kristen, thank you so much for being here. We got the homie Sim, thank you so much. T-Ville, how you doing? My man Theo is back. Good to see you. Bougie, what is up? How you doing? Or is it Boogie? Is it Boogie or Bougie? I think it's Boogie. All right, Boogie, what is up? Essence, thank you so much for being here. Mama J is in the building. Good to see you. Lamar, how you doing? My man Andrew is back. Let's see. I see Dwight is here as well. I got a couple more ism. I'm sorry, Callow, what is up? Final Boss is here. And shout out to everyone that has made it out tonight. Guys, I really, really appreciate y'all for taking that time. For sure, for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and all right, listen. We had some news that happened. I will say that I was very iffy about talking about this, but you know, E-Man ain't no punk. I could talk about whatever I want to talk about, and I cannot talk about whatever I don't want to talk about. But I am going to talk about it because, you know, we just going to be a little consistent here. We lost somebody over this week, and it is none other than OJ Simpson. Now, to say that OJ Simpson is without controversy would be a huge understatement. He's probably one of the most polarizing figures out there if it wasn't for certain political candidates, right? Now listen, OJ Simpson was a Hall of Fame football player, NFL player. You know, one of the only reasons I'm also bringing this up is because he was also an actor in Hollywood. And of course we know the other stuff too, but it turns out here that he has passed away. It says OJ Simpson, the former champion football running back turned actor, has died of cancer. And he was 76 years old. He was setting records playing professional football for the 49ers and Buffalo Bills. He showed up in different TV series like Medical Center, The Klansman, The Cassandra Crossing, and The Towering Inferno, and also Roots. But from the film side, he also was in the Naked Gun movies and Back to the Beach. And that's pretty much it on the positive side of things. But as many of you probably know, back in 1994, he was known for the infamous trial where he was accused of killing his wife or his ex-wife and her, you know, supposed lover. And yeah, that was big, huge news. And this is pre-social media days. So you have to understand that for this thing to be as big as it was back then without social media, that was a big deal. You had, I mean, I was too young at the time when it was coming out. I mean, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, something like that. So all I saw, and I remember to this day, was that white Bronco on the news. And I remember as a kid, I was like, why do y'all care about some white Bronco? It's a car on the expressway. Why do y'all care? This is the slowest high-speed chase I've ever seen. What is the big deal? I just didn't get it. But of course, as you get older and you start to, you know, reflect back, I started to understand a little bit more as to how big of a deal that really was. So when they say this was the trial of the century, it really was. Like, this was something that, whoo, man, I mean, Rodney King, that was a whole situation. But just to give some people some context, and we're not going to dissect the whole case. I know to some people's dismay, this channel is not a legal channel. Okay, that's not what we do here. But just to give people a little brief context, coming off of the Rodney King trial and how basically those LA police officers had beat up Rodney King on video, creating one of the first viral videos ever, and how they got acquitted, even though it was all on video. Racial tensions in America were really, really high. So while it did appear as though there was a lot of compelling evidence against OJ, you know, indicating that he was the actual murderer of his wife and her lover, you know, there were some other bumps in the road which came from the prosecution. They introduced this glove. There was a recording of the police potentially, I don't know the details, but the police supposedly planted evidence And basically OJ got acquitted. He was, again, despite the mounting evidence, he got acquitted. And from my understanding, that was kind of like a racial payback for what happened to Rodney King. So while it looked like from the black culture and society, we had gotten screwed over with the Rodney King situation, I don't think black folks at the time were really pro OJ, but they were kind of like, yo, we got to get a win somewhere. You know, like the justice system been screwing black folks for centuries. So even though it did not seem like everybody was like, yeah, OJ, we was kind of like, how does it feel to get screwed by the system? So this whole thing with OJ was not only just the case, but it was everything with him after the case. I mean, the man went around and wrote a book talking about if I did it. You know, it was just it was just messy. OJ was messy. If we could just be honest, OJ was messy. Okay. But I know one thing, especially, you know, growing up with this and not being completely privy to it, there have been a lot of documentaries and there were a lot of different things about the whole situation. There was an Oscar award winning film, OJ Made in America, and then FX. They came, now this is the one I loved. It was The People versus OJ Simpson, an American crime story. This one is the one that starred Cuba Gooding Jr. That was really good. That FX series with Cuba Gooding Jr. as OJ. I don't know why they cast him as OJ, but that was a really, really good series. I would definitely, if you don't know, if you don't have the context, if you don't know anything about it, matter of fact, I'd actually recommend both, you know, just to kind of get both sides of it, to get a better understanding. But either way, OJ Simpson is no longer with us. He did succumb to cancer. I think it was prostate cancer. And listen, I, you know, personally, I don't really care how you individually feel about him, whether you're pro OJ, negative, anti OJ. You know, just because of my faith, I'm not someone that revels in people's deaths like that. So I feel bad for his family, his loved ones. And you know, hopefully they'll be comforted during this time. So anyway, guys, you guys let me know, how did you feel when you heard about OJ's passing? You know, whether you're a fan or not, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. All right, let's move on. I don't even know why this is news, but listen, Spike Lee and OJ, Spike Lee and Denzel are tag teaming once again to make yet another movie, and this was going to be a remake of High and Low. You know, Spike and Denzel have collaborated before with, you know, Mo Better Blues, Inside Man, and of course Malcolm X, and you know, these guys are a wonderful pairing right there. However, it looks like on this, you know, this remake that they're making, they're adding a little spice to the mix, and that is none other than Ice Spice herself. Yes, so to this acclaimed, you know, highly acclaimed remake of a film with these very talented filmmakers, Ice Spice is going to be here as well. It says High and Low will mark Ice Spice's acting debut, and she's already begun shooting for the project starring Denzel Washington. Look, I'm just going to have to trust Spike Lee in this capacity. I'm going to have to trust that Spike Lee is probably going to give her a role that she can actually handle. I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of the announcement of this because adding a pop star, hip hop star that's never acted before, with serious filmmakers and actors with Denzel and Spike Lee, it does kind of feel like it's taking the shine off just a little bit. So I don't know. Hopefully she's like, I don't know, a bank teller, an assistant, somebody with not a lot of lines, you know. And based off of what I've seen in terms of her interviews and stuff like that, I don't get the sense that she's got the acting chops. But once again, I'm going to assume that Spike Lee knows what he's doing. I'm going to assume that this famous rapper is going to be in the presence of Denzel, and there's going to be enough creativity around to elevate them, to elevate her. So I will say that it was jarring to hear this, but I'm going to trust the creatives in this case. Because it's not impossible. I mean, DMX, DMX and Nas, they weren't terrible, when they started acting. Who else? Marshall Mathers, Eminem, wasn't terrible, in his debut. You got athletes like Ray Allen, when he got game, like, that wasn't bad. So it's not a guarantee that it's going to be a bad move. But we'll see what happens, but y'all let me know. What do you think about Ice Spice coming in to this Spike Lee Denzel flick? Does it get you excited? Are you kind of turned off? Are you optimistic? Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. Next up, we got an update for Jon Snow. Now, in case you did not know, for you Game of Thrones fans, based off of the way that Game of Thrones ended, there were some questions. There was still some questions. And Jon Snow's spinoff series was something that was supposedly in the works. And this was among other Game of Thrones spinoffs. Now, we already got House of the Dragon, and there's also going to be a Dunk and Egg spinoff that's going to be happening as well. But some other spinoffs have been, canceled, and HBO did not move forward with. So we just have to kind of wait and see where they go with this, right? But Kit Harington, aka Jon Snow himself, actually gave us an update on what's going to happen, or what is happening with the Jon Snow spinoff. Supposedly, this spinoff was going to be about what happens after the end of Game of Thrones. So most of you already know what happened with him. We was gonna see like what his journey was gonna be afterwards, right? So he gave an update here during this interview. It says here, George R.R. Martin, the actual author of Game of Thrones, said it was Kit Harington who brought the idea to us in order to have a spinoff at all. And this is from Kit. He says, I hadn't really ever spoken about it because it was in development. I didn't want it leaked out that it was being developed. I didn't want the thing to happen where people kind of started theorizing, getting either excited about it or hating the idea of it when it may never happen. Because in development, you look at every angle and you see whether it's worth it. And currently, it's not. Currently, it's off the table because we all couldn't find the right story to tell that we were all excited about enough. There may be a time in the future where we return to it, but at the moment, no, it's firmly on the shelf. So apparently, he's still gonna know nothing. Jon Snow ain't finna know nothing because this spinoff is no longer happening. I don't know if I ever needed a Jon Snow spinoff. The ending in the last Game of Thrones season kind of soured me a little bit. Like I was kind of like, I don't think I care anymore about what y'all finna do or not do. So that didn't really move me. But you know, what I like about HBO so far, and I don't know if HBO told him no or if this was just him internally, I always appreciate when a lot of these creatives can just be like, nah, it's not there. I'm okay with that. Like, don't force it. I'm very okay if y'all don't want to force, these certain spin-offs just for the sake of money or just for the sake of attention or whatever. So I'm okay. I'm okay with this. If you're not feeling it, if there is not a solid story, cool. Sit down. We gonna go enjoy them dragons, right? We gonna enjoy House of the Dragon. I don't need that. So I don't know. You guys let me know. Are you disappointed that we're not getting this Jon Snow spinoff? Maybe you're happy because maybe you're still kind of sour from the Game of Thrones situation. Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. Let's see. I got KN, formerly Kiki West. Okay, KN, thank you for that. Because I'd be slow. I'd be like, hi, KN, welcome to the channel. George R.R. Martin got enough on his plate. He still need to finish Fire and Blood Part 2 and Winds of Winter. Yes. George, first of all, I get mad every time George R.R. Martin is even interviewed and takes time to answer questions. Because to me, I'm like, bro, that's time you could be writing. Like if you had just been on your business writing them books, we probably could have gave that book or that ending to the Game of Thrones writers, and maybe we could have had a better ending, because I don't know what the hell that was that we got at the end. But either way, this man stay be doing everything else but writing the books that he's supposed to be writing. Oh man, I don't, and I'm not wishing this, I'm not hoping this, but I'm just saying life is too short. We be seeing people and George R.R. Martin don't be looking like he gonna be here forever. That's all I'm saying. He don't look like he gonna be here for the next 40, 50 years. That's all I'm saying. He's not a young buck. Get to writing, sir. Okay, you got a gift. Get to writing, please. Oh man, because I'm just saying it just don't feel like it's ever gonna happen. I don't know. But thank you so much, Kiki. I appreciate you, or KN, if that's what you would like to be referred to now. I got to give some other shout outs here because some of y'all been really, really kind and generous to support the channel, even on the replays, hitting the thank you button and leaving your support that way. Guys, I really, really do appreciate it. And I do my best to respond to y'all when y'all do that as well. But I do want to give some quick shout outs to and these were people I missed last time. I don't know if I did, but I'm gonna say it again. Charlissa, thank you so much for the $25 Cash App. You always supporting the brother. I really appreciate it. You said thank you for the last Friday's live, but I'm gonna thank you today in case you're watching. Thank you so much. My man Sean Evans, thank you for the $10 Cash App. You said thanks. I believe that was for the X-Men. Then we got Tracy. I think Tracy's here today. You said for the Wednesday live, that was much needed therapy. Yes, we all needed therapy after that X-Men one. Thank you for the $10 Cash App. I appreciate you so much. And then we got my man Terrence Francis. Oh man, you want Doctor Who updates, bro? I don't follow Doctor Who. Now you making me feel guilty, bro, because I don't know anything about Doctor Who. I've never watched Doctor Who. I don't know which doctor. I just know Doctor Who is a black guy. Like, bro, can I give you an update on anything else? Because I don't want to let you down, bro. I don't want to let you down. I'm just saying I don't know Doctor Who. I haven't watched one episode of Doctor Who. I'm not saying it's bad. Okay, I'm not saying. I'm just saying it's not in my purview. I don't want to let you. I don't want to let y'all down. It's just because I know you've been asking for a minute, and I'm just like, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Give me something else. Give me another chance. Terrence, please give me another chance with something else. And I will do my best. I will do my best for you. All right. Because you've been supporting the channel for a long time. And I don't want you to feel neglected. All right. I really don't. But Doctor Who ain't it. I have zero desire. I have zero desire for Doctor Who. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. I know you like it. I know. If I can find somebody that could watch Doctor Who for me and then let me know, I don't even know what to update you on. Like, are they still English? Like, I don't know. I'll do my best though. I'll see if I can figure something out, man. I'll just be letting you down like Nelson be letting us down every week. Yeah, Nelson. Yeah, we see you. Yeah, you thought you could hide. Nah, You thought the Kikis was gonna let you slide. We still see you, sir. We still see you. Yes. You like that deflection, right? You like that deflection. That's a grade school tactic right there. When you get, in an awkward position, you go ahead and shift that on over to somebody else. Nelson, you still gonna be here. All you gotta do is watch your stuff. Yep. Yep. Found you. Saw you. I'm just messing with y'all. All right, let's move on. Let us move on. I do have. Oh, we got another update. So, guys, now I have told y'all this for the longest that Heroes was one of my favorite TV shows. When this thing came out, Heroes had the potential to be one of the greatest TV shows. That first season, they was cooking, trying to save the cheerleader. And then that writer's strike happened. This is back in 2015. That's when the writer's strike happened. Oh my God. They massacred Heroes. When they changed them writers and the writing got noticeably terrible. I mean, I don't know. The only other show that I know, there were two other shows that died to me after Heroes, and that was the last season of The Wire, because The Wire is one of the greatest shows out there. The last season of The Wire got that stray, and then if y'all saw it on USA, the 4400. 4400, when that show was gone, ooh, that show was fire. And then they caught a stray as well. So, but Heroes to me was probably one of the biggest victims in my book, because I was watching here. I don't even think I watched NBC like that, but I was tuned in on Channel 5 every week, every time. Oh my gosh. So anyway, they tried to bring the show back. I think it was Heroes Reborn, or what was it called? Reborn or something like that. I didn't care. It was done. And I think it got canceled right after. So I was like, whatever. But it looks like we're going to do this again, because apparently Heroes Eclipse is going to be something from the original writer. It says Heroes, Tim Krigg's Heroes is eyeing a second encore with Heroes Eclipse, a new incarnation of the popular 2006 hero drama series. Now, this is written by him here. It says that Heroes Eclipse is set years after the events of the original series, as new Evos are being awakened and discovering powers that will change their lives. I wonder if that's Heroes, Evos. I don't know. Featuring familiar villains and new enemies who once again will be attempting to suppress this next step in human evolution. It will be up to this new group of heroes to save the world. Listen, the sad thing about this is I gave up on the show during the writer's strike, so I don't even know where the story ended up. Now, I do remember, what was the villain's name? Was it it wasn't Skylar. Was it Sylar? I think it was Sylar. That was a bad man. I liked him. I liked him as a villain. And the actor that played him, dude that played Spock, great. So great. That was my first introduction to him. So great. I don't know if I can trust this. I don't know what to do with this. Maybe this will be good. I don't know. This might be one of those let me wait and see type of things. I'm gonna need to make sure that it's not gonna get canceled. I can't keep having my heart broken. I can't keep having y'all get my hopes up and then all of a sudden, y'all cancel like a week later. I mean, I want to say that Heroes might have been my first like TV trauma because, and I think that kind of affects me like even to this day, where I'm very apprehensive into jumping into a new series unless I know it's got some staying power, unless I know it's got some potential, because I don't want to be left on the hook. I don't want to be left hanging dry like that. Like, so anyway, you guys let me know. Are you excited for Heroes Eclipse? Is this something that you are willing to give a shot? Are you going to give it a shot? Are you kind of on the fence, or are you done with Heroes altogether? Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. Nelson, what you got? Need more solo leveling episodes? Check out Mashal. What is Mashal? I don't know what that is. Mashal. Oh, Magic and Muscles. Okay, what is that? All right, I'll look that up. Now Nelson, how you, bro, how you gonna come on here and give people recommendations when you ain't taking the recommendations that we asked you to take? Nelson, make it make sense. Come on, make it help us out. Help us help you. How you gonna sit here and tell us what we supposed to watch? What, bro? You still got the raid. You still got the raid part 2. You still got Blade. You still got Blade part 2. Nelson, what's happening? What's happening? Listen. I love anime too. Okay, listen. I finished solo leveling. Solo leveling is I like it. I like it a lot. I'm just saying, how you gonna come on here with the, and you ain't even. Just make it make sense, man. Help. All right. Hold on. I got one more. Let me show some love. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Minister Crush, thank you, brother, so much. For the $50 Cash App. Says, thank you for your work. I have to replay, gang. Brother, thank you so much, man. That is so generous of you. Thank you, man. I appreciate you for the support. Wait a minute. Hold on now. Wait a minute now. Hold on. When did y'all hit a brother up with all this? Hold on. We got Mr. Hughes. Thank you so much for the $25 Cash App. Jesus. Thank you, man. I gotta send some love right back to you. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. Jennifer, my gosh, thank you so much for the $20 Cash App. I'm gonna send some love right back to you too. Thank you for supporting the channel like that. Jesus, come on, Miss formerly known as Kiki, but now you KN. Thank you for the $100. Kiki, come on now. I don't deserve supporters like you. Come on now. Thank you guys. Golly, I didn't even see all this. What are y'all doing? Come on now, we ain't even get started now. Jeez, like, y'all, come on now. Look, I know I said for Fillionaire. This just the mindset. It's just the mindset. Okay, come on now. We man. Thank you. Like, seriously, thank you guys for real. Thank you. Once again, this is why I don't have to run ads. This is why I don't beg y'all for nothing. This is why I'm not doing. Listen. It's because of y'all. Okay. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for keeping my babies fed. Because I don't get nothing. My wife already like, man, so when am I gonna get some shoes? Okay, hold on. Let's see what we got. So, but thank you guys. I appreciate y'all so much. Mara, stop it. Go see. This is emotional abuse. No, y'all not go. I'm not here to just cry for y'all. Stop it. Leave me be. Okay, stop. golly, I already cried with my boy on X-Men. Okay, I'm all cried out. Who sang that song? I forget who sang that song. I'm all cried out. I don't have no more. Sheesh. All right, let's move on because y'all finna get like abusive, and we don't have time for that. I got stuff to talk to y'all about. All right, here we go. 28 days later. So 28 days later. In case you have not seen the horror series, what is it? Is it a trilogy? I think it's just 2 movies, right? I don't think it's another one out after weeks. But there was talks that 28 months was going to happen. But listen, 28 days later, I thought was a very cool, nitty gritty, zombie flick or whatnot. But I really like 28 weeks later. 28 weeks to me still has one of the most enticing, jacked up intros that I have seen. Like, to this day, I don't think I can watch that intro without feeling some type of way. Because 28 weeks later, that husband and wife scene and what happens at the end, please do yourself a favor and watch that. If you have not seen 28 days, okay, that's fine. Go watch 28 weeks. 28 weeks. I really enjoyed that. But anyway, there have been talks about basically coming back for a third film. Cillian Murphy, who starred in the first one, was going to be coming back. We were trying to see what was going on, but we do have at least an update here. And this was something I did not see coming. Because in case y'all didn't know, Nia DaCosta, that's right, the Candyman director, the Marvels director, she is in talks to direct a second 28 years later movie. It says that she's reportedly in talks for the second entry in the upcoming 28 years later trilogy. Now, this is what I did not know. I didn't know that they was trying to make a trilogy. That's the thing I didn't know. I was like, wait a minute. I thought we was just going to have another movie, but they're actually going to do a trilogy of this. It says the trilogy is going to follow on Danny Boyle's 2002 movie 28 Days Later. So it seems like it's going to be skipping over the other films. Now, while the first entry will be, and Danny Boyle is going to come and do the first one, and then Nia DaCosta supposedly will come in after him. Now, it does say that DaCosta will have Alex Garland on board as the writer and producer. Danny Boyle's also going to be producing, and Cillian Murphy is also going to executive produce. It said here that it may brush aside 28 weeks later, mainly because Boyle and Garland had little involvement in it. So it looks like the original core group of people that were all involved, they're coming back, and they saying like, yo, forget that other stuff that we wasn't dealing with. Forget 28 weeks later, even though I still enjoy it. Forget that. We're going to come back, and it's almost like what I like to call the C-boot. It's like a sequel / reboot where forget 28 weeks later, we're going to make another 28 weeks and I guess a 28 years later. And I think that's actually kind of interesting. I'm a sucker for any and all zombie stuff anyway. So I will absolutely go ahead and check this out. You have my attention. Now, I'd be lying. I'm gonna be honest. I'd be lying if I said Nia DaCosta is getting me excited to do this. Because while I liked Candyman, it wasn't like the scariest or the best thing I had ever seen. Also, the Marvels, it's 2 shakies. It's 2 shakies, maybe 1.5 shakies. I don't know. But I am happy for her. I like the fact that she's getting more work. I like the fact that she's getting more opportunities so that she can grow as a director. And having that kind of support like Danny Boyle and Alex Garland, I think is a good way to help her expand and she is a fan of horror. So you know, I'm not gonna sit here and throw her away just because the first couple movies were a little shaky, but I am hopeful that she will continue to grow as a director. So I do like that for her. So anyway, you guys let me know, how do you feel about Nia DaCosta coming on board? How do you feel about 28 weeks getting another 2 movies potentially with 28 years later? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. All right. Okay, let me get this. Hold on. Okay, I think we're all caught up there. We have another one. No, we're not gonna talk about that. Okay, yeah, we can talk about this. I didn't even make a banner for this. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, there it is. Okay, sorry about that. So we have Yasuke or Yasuke or Yasuke. I've heard it pronounced multiple different ways, so I'm not really sure exactly what it is. But we have an update right now about the fact that this story of like the first black samurai is actually getting some traction in Hollywood. Now, some of you probably have seen the Netflix animated version. I want to say Lakeith Stanfield voiced it. And you know, tragically, the story of the black samurai was something that Chadwick Boseman was going to also portray, sadly, before he passed away. Yasuke, thank you so much. So Yasuke was a story that Chadwick was going to be, he was going to portray that. I think he was producing it, potentially starring in it. That was actually, I think, one of the speculations people had about when he was losing weight. We thought he was preparing for that role, but that unfortunately was not the case. But this is getting a little bit more traction in Hollywood, and it looks like it's actually going to happen. And it says here that Warner Brothers lands the Black Samurai movie, and it's going to have Blitz, who was the Color Purple director. He is going to be the one tasked with bringing Yasuke to live action. I'm mildly interested in this. Mildly interested. No details on like what exactly the story is going to be. I'm assuming it'll probably be very similar to the basic story. Probably not as eccentric as the animated version. But I like Blitz's last work, especially Color Purple. I thought that was a fantastic film. I actually got a chance to meet him when I was out in LA for a little bit. Very cool, down to earth guy. You know, really is in tune with the work that he does. So I think that he would go into this with a lot of care. Now the other question is like, yo, who would you want to have play Yasuke? I get the sinking feeling that Lakeith Stanfield is definitely going to want this. Like he's going to want to jump all over this. This is right up his alley. I feel like he would absolutely love to do this and jump all over it. Now I see some people are saying Aldous Hodge. Sure, I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. You know, I'm still a fan of my boy Yahya Abdul Mateen II. I feel like he could still show people something else with his, you know, whole acting ability and range. But I'm not mad at any of them, honestly. Like, you know, whichever ones wants to do it, I could see it, I guess. But I'd probably go Yahya, Aldous, and then maybe Lakeith third or fourth. But anyway, I don't know. You guys let me know. How do you feel about the idea of the Yasuke live action movie happening? Is this something that intrigues you? Are you interested? Did you even watch the animated version on Netflix? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. All right. We got an update. So we've been talking about this for a while here. It was this secret movie of Coogler and Jordan, Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. They were tag teaming once again for this secret movie that was getting Hollywood all up in arms, and everybody was getting excited about it. And from what we found out, at least from the insiders, is that it's going to take place in the 1930s, Jim Crow South. It's going to deal with vampires potentially. Michael B. Jordan could be playing a twin. What else was it? That the villains could be the KKK, which I'm not mad about that. And that this has potential to have franchise appeal. So you might see sequels happening here. And then we also saw, what was it? Last week, it was Delroy Lindo, legendary actor. Delroy Lindo is also, signing onto this project, which is always an upgrade if you can get Delroy. But it looks like we have some more people joining the cast. Some of y'all might remember her, but Wunmi is going to be joining. Y'all might remember her from Lovecraft Country, or from B-15, Hunter B-15 from Loki. She is going to be joining the project, but not only that, but you also have Haley Steinfeld. So she's joining the cast as well. So now, you're getting a lot of star power just kind of piling up, and I like this. It says here that Masuku Wunmi might be playing Michael B. Jordan's romantic interest, but we don't know which twin. And Jack O'Connell he might be playing a racist antagonist, and Steinfeld her part is all sealed up and no one really knows exactly. Something tells me that she's going to be a white, evil Southern person. I'm just saying, the 1930s, odds were not really in their favor of being the good guys or good gals. Just saying. But I like this. I like this cast. This cast is building up very nicely. I mean, you've got a studio that is clearly here to really back Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. So I don't think money is going to be an option or be a problem. You've got Delroy, you've got Wunmi, you've got Haley, you've got Jordan, Coogler. This is starting to stack up to sound like a nice film. I'm getting a little more excited because when you see people joining in like this, they know something and they're like, yo, I got to be a part of this thing. So I like what I'm hearing so far. I'm still waiting for a trailer. I still need a trailer, but I like this. But you guys let me know. How do you feel? Wunmi's in this, Haley's in this, Delroy's in this. Is there anything that is getting you excited? Anything else? Do you need more? Are you already sold? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right. That is funny. All right. What are we doing next? We want to do this first? Okay. All right. Let's go with the more stressful stuff. Okay, this is going to be... It's going to be a little stressful, so I'm going to have to kind of get into this, but let's talk about this. Zack Snyder. Oh, damn. I'm sorry. I forgot. I have to give my disclaimer for reasons. Hi, I'm Emmanuel E-Man Noisette. I am a film critic. I give analysis and critique and praise to filmmakers all alike. Zack Snyder is a filmmaker that I do not hate at all. I am a fan of 300. I liked Man of Steel. I have issues with some of his other films. Me, E-Man, no hate, Zack Snyder. I don't hate Zack Snyder. I don't hate him. Okay. All right, we're good. All right. Zack Snyder is back. He's back. He's doing this interview with Empire Magazine. And I think that it's common knowledge at this point that Zack Snyder is becoming known probably for other reasons beyond just his work. I can say full-heartedly that I think he is a visual genius when it comes to filmmaking. Like, he really has an artistic eye for the visuals. He can do action like no other. I have talked about how in other instances he will get in his own way when it comes to the storytelling. I've also said that I think Zack Snyder would benefit greatly whenever he does something that is written by someone else and is not a widely known, recognizable IP. I enjoyed the zombie movie. That's like one of my favorites, Dawn of the Dead, and Army of the Dead. I enjoy that too. Rebel Moon, not so much. But that leads into one of the complicated issues with Zack Snyder. Outside of his hardcore fan base, so I'm not talking, y'all not included, okay? We're not talking to y'all. We already know that the hardcore Snyderites love everything he does. So please, be quiet for a second. I'm not talking to y'all. I'm talking about other general audiences and just general people that are not following every single word that he says. He has mixed reactions because of his infamous, consistent insinuations of director's cuts. Now, again, I don't mind a good director's cut. There have been plenty of instances and examples of other directors that will come out with a director's cut of a film, and sometimes the director cut is better, sometimes it's not, whatever. That's not the problem. One of the issues that I have, and let me say this again because I know somebody gonna jump in the comments, but E-Man, you know the studio's interference. Listen, slow down. We all know that DC, the old regime, interfered with Zack Snyder, and it was a problem with Batman v Superman, and all. We get it. We get it. Not talking about that. Not talking about that. I'm moving on, and I'm talking about Zack Snyder today and the future. The whole Rebel Moon incident is an issue I am not okay with in terms of his decision making. I've already said this in my previous videos. Zack Snyder made a decision and a deal with Netflix to make a PG version of the Rebel Moon that was trash. And I would better yet, let me say this. It was inferior. And this is by his own admission, because he will go on and say that the longer 4-15-hour cut of the first part of Rebel Moon is a better film. I don't like the idea of a director wasting our time with any type of content that they know is inferior. Don't give me your trash. I don't care what deal you make with the studios. I want your best work all the time. This is not just for Zack Snyder. This is for any director. Give me your best work the first time. And guess what? If you happen to come up with something better later, then that's great. That's cool. but don't sit here and give me something you know is boo-boo just because of whatever deal you made. I don't like that. And we've also talked about how that has negative side effects to his co-stars and not co-stars, but the people that are working on it. We just talked about how Sophia Boutella, the main lead actress, she has to deal with the negative backlash and horrible criticism that, the negative criticism that came at the first part of Rebel Moon. That could have been avoided if y'all just gave us y'all best stuff. If the original longer cut is better, maybe the first one wouldn't have gotten trashed and your actual actors wouldn't have to deal with the trauma of getting their names dragged and having that terrible movie be on their resume. You're hurting other people around you when you playing these release this cut, that cut game. Stop. It's not cute. And unfortunately, because he has built this reputation of always having a director's cut or whatever, this is what people ask him about. And this is now what he's been asked in this new interview with Empire. And the question was asked about what would he want to fix today? If he had his choice of his movies, what would he want to fix? And unfortunately, and maybe this could, I don't know how to interpret this. He mentioned probably one of his worst movies ever made, and that was Sucker Punch. I don't even remember Sucker Punch because it was so bad. I saw it. I know I saw it. And something in my young mind at that time, before I even became a film critic, something in my mind created a trauma blockade where I don't remember a lick of that movie anymore. But I do remember the feeling of I don't like this movie. So he went on in this interview to talk about what he would do with Sucker Punch when asked about it. And he said here, the only movie I would change is Sucker Punch because it never really got finished correctly. Even the director's cut. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I reacted too much. I'm sorry. Let me finish the quote first. Let me finish the quote because God. Even the director's cut of Sucker Punch is not really the correct cut. It's really just an extended version. If I had the chance, I would fix that movie. So now he wants to make a director's cut of the director's cut. Do you not see how problematic this is? Do you not see how, like, I'm just saying, I don't even know how his fans defend this at this point. Like, I'm sure Zack Snyder is a great guy. And this is not a personal attack on him or his being or whatever. But brother, man, what are you doing? What are you doing? You already had a shot to do whatever you wanted back then. And now you want to go back? And you know what this reminds me of? I know it's not the same, but this just reminds me of it. My daughter, my youngest kid, she come in and she be doing her homework. And when she has her homework, she be writing real sloppy. She's learning how to write. And when she writes all sloppy, I'm like, look, baby, come on. Let's erase this and let's write slower, neater, and do it better. And when I tell you, she'll erase the whole thing. You ever see that meme of the little kid erasing? Just erase all of it. Then you get this big old blur of black, nasty rubber all on the white paper, right? It's just nasty looking. And then she want to write all over again, and it's still sloppy. And I'm like, listen, can we get a separate piece of paper and just try again? I feel like Zack Snyder's that little kid that just keep on erasing, writing, messing up, and keep erasing, and then you just get a blob of mess. You can't even read whatever the new thing is because it's just mess. Let me go on here. He says, I have the footage already shot. They just have to let me put it together. We ask every now and then. We have to ask again. I think there has to be a window when no one's got the movie. If they want to start a campaign, that's all right. Jesus. At first, when I read this, I thought he was just asked a hypothetical question. And whatever, hey, maybe if I could go back in time, I would do this. Okay, fine. Okay, we talk about hypotheticals. Fine. You've tried to go back and do this? This man said, we ask every now and then. You've asked multiple times? And then you said, we have to ask again. You intend to keep asking? And what I don't like is I don't like when he fans the flames of his base, his hardcore fans, because we might mess around and see a release the sucker punch cut movement. Because for whatever reason, the hardcore internet bros that are Snyder damn near cultists. So I'm not talking about people that just like his movies. I'm talking about the cultists, the people that go to extremes. Those folks will go hard all day, every day. Hashtag all day. Send off the studios, making people think that everybody wants it when we never asked for it. And then they won't show up. They sure didn't help Rebel Moon. They could have seen Rebel Moon and gone and voted for it. They didn't do that. They could have showed up for a lot of those Snyder Cut type of films. They didn't do that. All that keyboard energy is great until it comes time to pay up. Where they at? Where they be at? So I don't really like this. It's not even a dog whistle. It kind of is like a, hey guys, I have to go ask for Sucker Punch Part 2, part Director's Cut, extra ultra edition. Don't y'all want to get a campaign going? It's too much. It's too much. And it would be very different if the results were undeniable. It'd be very different if when Zack Snyder does come out and do these things, again, I'm not talking about the people that like his movies. You can like his movie and still be in a minority. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm talking about the fact that his stuff is not as overwhelmingly received by the general audiences that justify consistently doing this stuff over and over and over again. That's what I'm talking about. Because now he's like, yo, studio, give me more money. I need more money. I need more time. I need this. I need that. And it's like, for what? For the 10,000 people that's going to watch it? All right. In my opinion, as much as I like some of Zack Snyder's films, he is the definition of a director that does too much. Like I said, I don't like the idea of wasting our time. giving us things that he knows are inferior. I don't like that. I want to see his best work. I will judge all of his work individually, of course. But this seems like film abuse for like you had a shot. Just stop. Please just stop. Anyway, you guys let me know. What do you think about Zack Snyder putting the call out, the bat signal for all his Snyder fans to come on out and, you know, get the Sucker Punch campaign going? Do you want to see a director's cut of the cut of the cut, ultimate extra spicy edition of Sucker Punch? Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. All right. Didier, what you got? Snyder cuts are to Zack Snyder what the twist endings are to M. Night. It's actually kind of like that. Yeah. And I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. What I do respect with M. Night, though, is that he tries every time, right? Like every time he'll try to give you a twist ending, and sometimes he won't. Sometimes he won't. So I appreciate the fact that he mixes it up like that. I think it's a little different than Snyder because, again, it's like nobody is rushing you to make Rebel Moon. You know, no one was rushing you to do Army of the Dead. I liked it. I liked Army of the Dead. I liked Dawn of the Dead. It's like just take your time and make the best thing that you can. That's not asking. Listen, we're not asking anything from Zack Snyder that isn't asked from other directors. Do other directors have a bunch of ideas that they wish they could add on? Yes. And guess what? If other directors got their way, we'd have like 5-hour-long movies every time. But you're in a business. And in this business, you do have to learn how to adapt. And I do believe he does have the talent to adapt. But I also think he's getting kind of spoiled with this idea that when in doubt, make a director's cut. It's like, why don't you just make a good film the first time? Just do that. Thank you, Didier. Appreciate you. Frigga, evening fam. I risked it all and left Odin for Magneto. Dang, that's a choice. His numerous bars in this week's X-Men were simply irresistible. Listen, just don't drink that purple drink, you know. And if you see the cheddar biscuits, yeah, well, that's a wrap. It's a wrap at that point. But thank you so much, Frigga. I appreciate you so much for that. Let's see. Puma, Suckered Punch or Wanted? I would watch Wanted. If you're asking which one I'd want to watch. I liked Wanted. Wanted was cool. I was actually hoping for a sequel for Wanted. That was something I definitely was hoping they continue. JN, Zack Snyder has to have dirt on some executive. Possibly. There's no way he continues to get these huge budgets for these seemingly incomplete movies without it. No, I mean, listen, based off of the interviews that I've heard of Zack Snyder, I think that he's a great talker. And a lot of it is because he's very passionate about the things that he does. And I like that about him. I like the fact that he cares about the things that he does. But like I said before, sometimes he gets in his own way. Sometimes he cares so much that he cannot really pull back. You know, that's kind of the issue with that. I don't think Zack Snyder didn't do Wanted, did he? No, I don't think he did that. Who did Wanted? That was somebody else, wasn't it? No, that wasn't him. It was somebody else. I can't even say their name. But anyway, yeah. So, but thank you so much for that. Appreciate you, JN. I guess we're gonna keep on with this. Let's keep on with this. Should we do this one? All right, let's get this out the way. I want to say that I have a ton of respect for what this gentleman has contributed to film in general in the entertainment space. I do think that he is a well-renowned actor, has done some great work that will always live on for me. But regardless of that, somebody still is going to have to come and get y'all uncle. Because right now, once again, Billy Dee Williams is doing the most. He went on the Bill Maher show or some, I guess, podcast or whatever. And they had an interesting conversation. Now, Billy Dee has not been a stranger to saying strange things. It's not something I will entertain at this point, but he's had interesting thoughts. And recently he's had some more. Says here, he was talking about blackface. And he said, when Laurence, what does he say? When Laurence Olivier's performance in Othello, he said, when he did Othello, I fell out laughing. He stuck his butt out and walked around because black people are supposed to have big butts. And Bill Maher was like, today they would never let you do that, you know, based off of what they did in Othello. Williams was like, what? Why? What? And Maher looked real shocked and was like, blackface? Billy Dee goes on to say, why not? You should do it. If you're an actor, you should do anything you want to do. And Bill Maher pointed out that Williams, who is 87 years old, actually lived in a period where you couldn't play the parts you should have played. Billy Dee responded and said, the point is, you don't go through life feeling like I'm a victim. I refuse to go through life saying to the world, I'm pissed off. I'm not going to be pissed off 24 hours a day. I feel like there must have been a time jump or something happened where Billy Dee and Richard Dreyfuss must have been in the same taxi cab or something. And maybe their heads just hit each other. And because here we go again. Here we go again. Like Billy Dee is on his Richard Dreyfuss all over. Y'all remember Richard Dreyfuss? He want to be in blackface too. Richard Dreyfuss want to play MLK or somebody. I don't know. For those of you that don't know the implications of blackface, blackface was basically the portrayal of white actors or any non-black actors for that matter, donning on makeup to darken their skin. And the bigger, more problematic aspect is that they would portray a caricature of black people. This was also problematic because this was during a time when black actors were not able to act. They were not able to even portray themselves. So this is coming from a very racist mentality, and that's the roots of where this comes from. So one level of how Billy Dee's response to this is troubling is that, brother, you were there. You were there. Like, I totally understand if a white person didn't understand blackface. I get it. I'd understand if a foreigner coming to America didn't understand blackface. I get it. I'd understand if a young person just didn't understand. I get that. You were laughing at Laurence Olivier as he was portraying what he thought black people acted like. I don't recall Othello being a comedy. So you was that one weird person watching Othello laughing while everybody else was probably taking a different reception to it? So that's awkward in itself. But here's the thing that kind of bothers me a little bit more, and it's more so of his mindset, because I get it. When you come from a different time, a different culture, you know, I feel like you probably come up with different mentalities, maybe even defense mechanisms, because the racism that Billy Dee came up in is probably extremely way different than what we live in today. He said that I don't want to go through life feeling like I'm a victim, and I don't want to tell the world that I'm pissed off. Then don't. You don't have to do that. No one is saying that you have to walk around and act like a victim. But there's a difference between acting like a victim and walking around the world, being pissed off, versus being disrespected. And that's what blackface in itself is. It's a form of disrespect when you make a caricature of a different culture. For example, it wasn't just blackface that was the problem. You also had other white actors depicting other ethnicities as well. You would have white actors that would slant their eyes and act like they were Chinese, adding like big teeth and stuff like that, and talking in a certain, derogatory way. I don't think that Asian people seeing that were walking around feeling like a victim or being pissed off. They just felt disrespected. You had, indigenous Native American people that were portrayed by white people, and I'm pretty sure they weren't like pissed off, and maybe they were, but it was more so a form of disrespect. I'm just going to chalk this up as Billy Dee is the exception to the rule. Billy Dee is not probably in the best mind state and mentality that most people are. Again, if you're sitting here laughing at Othello, which is a drama, I don't know how much I can really take your opinion seriously. He is also 87. But for anyone asking or thinking, yes, blackface is just as disrespectful as making fun of any ethnicity and trying to make a caricature or pretend to be like, this is how this whole ethnicity acts, whether it's Asian folks, Indian folks, Native American folks, black folks, Latino folks, whatever the case is. When you do that, it is disrespectful. Now, I know we have talked about this in the past. Probably the only exception that exists is Robert Downey in Tropic Thunder. Mainly because that was satire and it was immediately criticized internally at the same time. That's literally the only time it makes it like gets a pass. It's the only exception. They found the loophole. But outside of that, it's wrong. I don't care what Billy Dee's talking about. So please, somebody come and get y'all uncle. Anyway, You guys let me know. What do you think about Billy D's comments? I don't know. Maybe y'all agree with him. Maybe you disagree. Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. All right. Let's get to some other fun stuff here. Looks like we back. Here we go again. In case you did not know, Mandalorian and I guess mixed martial artist Gina Carano, she has been in this latest battle with Disney because while she was starring in Mandalorian, Disney let her go. And by let her go, they basically just did not renew her contract. Her contract was already expired. So unlike some people that are uninformed, it's not like she had like 5 seasons left and they terminated her. No, they just did not renew her contract. A lot of this stemmed from her social media comments and behavior. And again, contrary to what some people might believe, this did not happen only because of one tweet. This happened with a series of tweets. It was a series of back and forths where Carano would post different things, anywhere from potential misinformation about COVID, election denying in 2020, and of course the final straw, which was her comparison of how right-wing conservatives today are. She made a comparison to them and Jews in the Holocaust. Well, Disney was like, nah, we're good, and they decided not to renew her contract. But because of that, she went ahead with the support of Elon Musk to file a lawsuit against Disney because she said that, basically it's her First Amendment right. She has the right to free speech and she should be able to say whatever she wants, even though that sounds ridiculous because the First Amendment deals with freedom of speech when the government is involved. It's not about anything. It's about the government and the people. Disney is not the government. Disney is a private employer that they have different rights that I'm sure are baked into your contract. And depending on whatever you sign, they can do whatever they want at that point, as with most companies. So we got our first sign here because Disney was hitting back. Says here, Disney's lawyers filed a motion on Tuesday to throw out Carano's lawsuit, arguing that it has a constitutional right not to associate its artistic expression with Carano's speech. In other words, Disney was like, excuse me, Your Honor, this case is stupid because we don't have to associate with whatever she's talking about. More clearly, she can say whatever she wants. Disney is not preventing her from having the freedom to say whatever she wants. Disney is basically saying, we just don't want to associate with her while she's saying whatever she wants. That's all. Says here, Carano was fired back in February of 2021 after she analogized the treatment of modern day conservatives to the persecution of Jews in Nazi Germany. And according to Disney, the Nazi post was the final straw, and that's according to the company's motion. The company argued that the post trivialized the Holocaust by referred to thousands of Jews, not millions, and by likening their experience to those of contemporary conservatives who face scorn on social media. Again, this is almost like, it's almost like if somebody was like, oh my gosh, People are coming at us right-wing folks for having conservative views on Twitter. This is almost like the couple hundred black slaves that America had. A couple hundred, a couple thousand. How about millions? Millions for generations. And when it comes to the Holocaust, yeah, millions, not thousands. It was not just thousands that were killed. Millions were killed in Nazi Germany. And furthermore, before anyone's like, oh, well, she got the number wrong, it's still insinuating a trivialization of what actually happened. Going into a gas chamber, being brutally killed in various ways, that's nothing compared to people disagreeing with you on a fictional platform on the internet. That's not the same. And it is absolutely insulting. I don't care what point she was trying to make. It was a terrible point. It was a terrible analogy. And again, Disney said that this was the last final straw, which means it wasn't just this one thing that made them say, we're not going to deal with you. They've had other instances. In other words, she's a habitual line stepper. Every time they try to work with her and be like, listen, can you not talk about that? Listen, this is offending people. Listen, can you chill out with this? Look, can you apologize to the people that we have employed here? There are people here that are LGBTQ and you sitting here offending them. There are people here that are Jewish and you offending them. These are people in your own workspace and your stuff is affecting them. And she didn't want to comply. She didn't want to be a team player. Now, here's the thing. I don't have a problem with her having her own beliefs because I believe even if I disagree with your beliefs, I believe you are entitled to believe whatever you want. You are free to say whatever you want, but you are not free from the consequences from others. Listen, if you're a white person, say the N-word. Go ahead. Just don't be surprised if some people not going to like that. And if some people react, good luck. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, you're free to do whatever you want, but you cannot escape the reality that there might come some consequences with that. And in this case, the employer was like, no, thanks. We don't want to play with you. Now, to support its argument, oh, this was crazy. Disney, to support their argument, the company invoked a law review article and a commentary written by Carano's attorneys. It goes on to say employers that speak must necessarily speak through their employees. And when an employee or prospective employee says things, even off the job, that would undermine the employer's message, the employer must be able to distance itself from the employee. Oh my God! Did y'all see what they just did? Disney was over. This is why you don't mess with Disney lawyers, because clearly they got money. How did Disney said, we're going to take what your own lawyer said and use it against you. Your lawyer said that the employees and the employers don't have to work together if the speech don't match. Golly, this got to be worse than when B Rabbit came after, Anthony Mackie. Like, what? This is crazy. This is crazy. Disney was like, these your lawyers, right? Your lawyers wrote this, right? Your lawyers just wrote something against you, right? Your own case, right? Why you got lawyers that are lying? Why you got lying lawyers on your side? Can you thank your lawyers for helping us win this case? Jesus. Listen, that was something vicious. That was something vicious on them Disney lawyers. I mean, listen. I'm just saying that's a bold. That's something that I feel like you would see in a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like you would see this in a Lawyer, all A Few Good Men or something like that. You would in the Lincoln Lawyer, a Time to Kill. What you would see some lawyering like that in a film to be like, oh my gosh, this intern was in the drawers and they found this article from 1997 from the lawyers themselves, and then they present it and they rush right into the courtroom and they be like, and they give it to the lawyer, and then the lawyer's like, what's this? Hold on, Your Honor, I gotta read this. Oh, screw, sir, Your Honor, we don't even want to have a trial right now. We actually would like to move to dismiss this whole trial. Why? Oh, because the prosecution, this person over here, she don't even believe it. They lawyers. Her lawyers, no, they don't believe it. Can we go to lunch? Can we go home? Please? Woo-wee. Woo-wee. Boy, where's that Law and Order? Dum-dum. Dum-dum. Y'all might play the credits. Play the credits. Boy, this is some scandal-ish right here. According to Disney, they said that Carano's presence as a prominent actor on The Mandalorian interfered with Disney's choice not to produce a show associated with her beliefs. Well, yeah, I guess that would be kind of hard to do. You can't really keep promoting her. And by the way, before anyone sits here and says like, oh, they just hating on her or whatever, Disney, even though they kept giving her chances, they were going to give her an entire spinoff series. I don't know why, because her character was not that intriguing, but they were still willing to work with her. How you gonna be a habitual line stepper? Your employer is trying to even give you a promotion, and you fumble your own bag. If she was British, I'd say she spilled the crumpets. Like what? She dropped the tea bag. Like, come on, what are you doing? Oh. But y'all thought this was over with because Carano was not going to take that laying down. She fired back. That's right. This drama continues. She fired back. Gina Carano has written on her social media that the Walt Disney Company will take any chance they get to control what you say, what you think, and they'll attempt to destroy your career. She said here on her social media, no, I'm not going to go through all of it. Disney has confirmed what has been known all along. They will fire you if you say anything they disagree with. Yeah. That kind of comes with most companies. Yeah. I'm pretty sure if I went to my job and I said, I don't know, death to America or something like that, I might not be able to come back the next day. That's kind of how working works in America. Private companies don't have to work with you if you are going out of your way to express things that are counter to whatever values or messages that the company represents. You can't do that. I can't go work for a Christian company and walk in there with satanic stuff on. Doesn't work. It doesn't work. Now, you could be that Satanist believer all you like, but you just can't work at that Christian place. It kind of don't work. She goes on to say, they are now on record, letting everyone who works for them know that Disney will take any chance they can get to control what you say, what you think, and they will attempt to destroy your career. That's not actually true. But it is for you. It's true for you. And the reason why I say that is because this is not the first time people have actually said things that Disney might not actually agree with. And they've actually, like, Evangeline Lilly. She was getting into some hot fire. She was doing the protests. She was all against the political mandates when COVID was hitting and stuff. And Disney let her rock. Last time I checked, she was still in Ant-Man 3. So you can have a certain opinion. You can have things that even the company might not agree with, but she wasn't insulting anyone. She wasn't demeaning anyone. And that's where the line got crossed. You can't sit here and make fun of the LGBTQ people when you're working with those type of folks. You can't sit here and like trivialize the impact of the Holocaust when, I mean, the company was started, it has a Jewish founding. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Woo-wee. Now the article goes on and also talks about how the company reserves the right to pick and choose what it wants. So the whole discrimination thing can also just be tossed out. Because like I just mentioned, they can sit here and be like, yeah, we don't agree with Evangeline Lilly's comments, but Gina's comments, yeah, those are worse. We're going to take action on that in terms of we just won't work with them. So we'll see how this goes. I mean, honestly, I don't see how this case on Carano has any merit. I know how some people want to feel like it should have merit, but I'm just saying on paper, I don't see how it has merit because I don't see any laws or amendments that says a private company has the obligation to work with you outside of discrimination, situations where, they can't like not hire you because of race, gender, creed, etc. That's obviously, we know that. But when we're not talking about those things and we're just talking about your willful actions of expressing certain beliefs and stuff that, by the way, nobody asked you for, I don't see anywhere where it's written that they have to work with you. So anyway, you guys let me know. What do you think about this whole Gina Carano situation with Disney? Are you down with it? Are you not down with it? Do you see her side of it? Do you see Disney's side? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. JN, what you got? Billy D is trying to sell books. Oh, is he? But I see you trying to be a trillionaire. Well, fulfillionaire. Okay, this is a fulfillionaire mindset. So I'll leave my African American minor and comments to myself. Thank you so much, JN. I appreciate you. Thank you. Let's see. Frigga, what you got? Women also couldn't act in Shakespeare time. Let's see how well he likes tradition after that. Well, he was also the same person that was talking about he was gender fluid, but I don't think he really understood what gender fluid meant. So, Billy D, like, I really struggled on whether I even wanted to comment on this because I'm just like, I don't know if Billy D still got it up there still. I don't know. But I did want to address it because, like, I mean, I know people that I associate with that, let's just say, of certain ethnicities, and they don't understand the implications of blackface. And I don't want anyone sitting here saying, well, Billy Dee Williams said that it's okay, so it's got to be fine, right? No. We're going to speak against that right now. We're going to stop that right now. But yeah. 60 plus. That itch is crazy. Congrats, Disney, for handling her. Well, to be fair, they've only filed the motions. We don't know if the judge will accept it, but man, I don't know how this keeps moving on. Unless Gina got some other type of evidence that we don't know about, based off of what we know, surface level, I don't see how this continues. I don't see why a judge will waste their time with this, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I could be wrong. But thank you so much. Gina, thank you, JN. Gina and Billy D work on the same show, right? Did Lando show up in? I don't think he showed up. I mean, they work for Lucasfilm, in terms of Star Wars, but I don't think Billy D showed up for Mandalorian, or did he? I don't know. JN with another one. Thank you so much. Yep, Billy D just dropped the memoir 2 weeks ago. Oh, okay. All right. Well, hey, thanks for letting me know. I had no idea. But I'm not looking to read that either. That is no, thank you. No, thank you. Let's see. All right. What else are we gonna talk about? Got that? Okay. How we doing on time? Man, it's gonna be a long one. Okay, I'm gonna try and go fast. I'm gonna try and go faster. Because we have a lot to cover. Now this was something. We talk about this pretty often. A lot of times, you know, we get certain characters or certain actors in in the MCU. Maybe they leave and we're like, yo, when are you going to come back? I mean, Chris Evans gets this question every single time whenever he shows up in anything. When are you coming back as Captain America? You know, and of course we get the same answers over and over and over again. But there's also been another fan favorite that people are like, when are you coming back? And that's Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey, of course, is known as Iron Man. It's probably one of his most recognizable roles, probably one of his best roles of his career. Even though, yes, Oppenheimer, he got that, you know, award and well deserved. But I think when it's all said and done, that's Iron Man, right? He definitely came in. He put the MCU on his shoulders for like over a decade. Went out with a bang, literally. And he did a fantastic job, you know, for that whole time. And of course, you know, fans would probably have that natural reaction of like, yo, can he come back? You know, should he come back? Now he was asked this before. I want to say it was on Rob Lowe's podcast or something like that. And he had communicated that no, Marvel hasn't reached out to him. They haven't reached out. At least not yet. So that was leading to a little speculation, but he was asked again here a little bit more directly about would he come back? Would he want to come back to the MCU? We do know that he left to go do a bunch of other movies that were not all that successful until Oppenheimer. But here's where we have his actual answer. He was asked here on Esquire magazine if he would ever return to Marvel. He said, happily. It's too integral a part of my DNA. That role of Tony Stark chose me. And look, I always say, never, ever bet against Kevin Feige. It is a losing bet. He's the house. He will always win. However, that same Kevin Feige, he did say Robert Downey's Iron Man will not return as it would ruin his perfect exit in Avengers Endgame. So, should he come back? Here's the problem of Robert Downey coming back. And I don't know whose problem it is. One side of it is, and I think this is why Marvel hasn't asked him yet, do y'all have that Tony Stark money to pay him? Because as we know, Robert Downey famously put it in his contract that anytime you throw him in Avengers anything, he getting some of that back cut money. Yes, all the money from the box office, he getting a slice of that pie. And that is a slice that normally, now some actors will do those back end deals. Maybe they take less money up front, take more from the box office. But we already know Avengers movies, they out there making billions. That's all they do. No Avengers movie to date has made less than $1 billion. First Avengers was like $1 billion. What was it? Age of Ultron made like 1.5 billion. You know, Infinity War, Endgame, 2 billion. Listen, Robert Downey walked away when it was all said and done with like over 400 something $1 million. That's a lot of money for an actor. A lot of actors don't make that kind of bread. They might make, 100 million, 200 million, 400 million. And then this man got paid like a crazy amount just to show up for 5 minutes in Spider-Man Homecoming. Listen, he is very expensive when it comes to the MCU. So bringing him back, that's already a gamble. Now, let's look at it the other way. You have the expense of bringing Downey back, but you also have the positive because Marvel has been lacking. We all know this. We've all talked about this. We've all recognized this. I don't care how big of a Marvel fan you can be. Marvel has been lacking. Phase 4 overall. Yeah, it had a couple good things here and there. Shout out Loki. Shout out WandaVision. Shout out No Way Home. But overall, it was kind of whack. It was lackluster. It did not meet most people's expectations. And, phase 5 has not really been off to a great start. You bring Robert Downey back. You bring Iron Man back. I mean, we are talking about Secret Wars. We're talking about the multiverse saga, which means, yeah, our 616 Iron Man might not come back, but bringing back an alternate version of him would not be so far-fetched. It is possible. And again, Hugh Jackman came back, and we thought Hugh Jackman was never coming back as Wolverine. So anything is absolutely possible. And if you bring Robert Downey back, talk about an adrenaline shot for the MCU. I've already told y'all the other shot that would definitely help the MCU right now is if you said, hey, we're doing Avengers Secret Wars and the Russo brothers are coming back. You mean to tell me if you got the Russo brothers and you got Robert Downey's Iron Man coming back, you don't think that's going to make $2.5 billion off the jump? We ain't got no trailer needed. No trailer needed. People will show up in droves for something like that. So, but as much as that kind of gives a little hope for the MCU, let me put a little water on that too, just a little bit. Yes, it's expensive to bring Robert Downey back. Yes, it would be a great adrenaline shot for the MCU if he came back. But the only caveat I would say is it's got to be a one-time thing. It's got to be. Robert Downey, if I'm not mistaken, just turned 59. He just turned, I think he's pushing 60. By the time Avengers Secret Wars would even come out, he's going to be in his early 60s. He started as Iron Man in 2008. It would be 2027 until we would see him again. I don't know how much dye they gonna need to make that beard blacker. But I'm just saying, my man's gonna be old. He's gonna be pretty old. I'm not saying he shouldn't come back because he's old. I'm just saying it's got to be a one and done. It's got to be like, hey guys, I'm back. They do have the de-aging technology. So they could probably be like, yeah, I'm back for Secret Wars. I died. Boom, gone. All right, bye, Tony. Bye. It was great. Thank you for being here. Bye. It cannot be more than that. So I'm a little mixed as to whether he should come back. Would I be mad if he came back? Absolutely not. It'd be fine. But if he didn't come back, I would understand also. Because honestly, especially if you're doing a multiverse and especially if you're talking about potential reboots, get another Tony Stark. Find somebody else that could play the role. I don't know off the top of my head who that could be yet, but get another Tony Stark and start over. Because I don't really like the idea of the MCU moving forward, potentially rebooting, and we don't have a Tony Stark at all. Just get somebody else. And I would say no to Tom Cruise because Tom Cruise is too old. He's getting older, and he's also too busy. He has like 3 other top guns he needs to do. It's too much. Get somebody in their 30s that can grow with the future of the MCU. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. Is there anything else? I think that's about it. Yeah, I think it's got to be a one and done if he comes back. But listen, I know he's happy. What did he say? If he can come back, he said happily. Of course he'd be happy to come back. They're gonna have to pay him $1 billion to come back. I'd be happy too. I'd be sitting by my phone just like, any day now. What? Y'all gonna give me my retirement check now? Let's go. I'd be too happy. But anyway, y'all let me know. What do you think about Robert Downey potentially coming back to the MCU? Do you want to see him come back? Do you think it'd be fine if it was like a one-time thing? Maybe you want him to come back and stay even longer. I mean, again, they do have the de-aging CGI technology. I guess it could work. Whatever you think. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. All right. Okay. I'm gonna kind of go through these kind of quick, so if you guys can bear with me. But I told you guys that we had some movies to review, so I'm gonna just kind of go over a couple real quick. So let's talk about Challengers. This is a movie that will be coming out, I want to say, in about a couple weeks or so. But this is one of those movies. It stars Zendaya. A lot of hype. I know a lot of hype came through the trailer because we saw Zendaya in a very compromising position. So that's pretty much what's gotten a lot of people's attention. But let me kind of give you guys a quick intro about Challengers, what it's about, and then we'll get into it. So Challengers stars Zendaya. She plays Tashi Duncan, a former tennis prodigy turned coach. She's married to a champion tennis player who's currently on a losing streak, but her strategy is to kind of get her husband back up and going. However, he has to go up against his own best former friend. And that's pretty much what you see there. So let me start off obviously with the good. Let me just say that the driving force in Challengers, when you're going into this movie, the performances, the acting is definitely going to be key. You got the 2 actors, Mike and Josh, I believe their names are. The 2 actors, they were good. They were fine. I think that their on-screen chemistry was really good because you do kind of get a sense that they are best friends, right? You do get that sense that they do have this kinship between them. And again, their chemistry is really, really good. When you do start to dig deeper into their past, I think that it makes the story all that much more compelling. And I think that what I liked about their performances here was that the director did a good job in just kind of including us in like very subtle things that make their friendship so vital, right? We get to see some very key moments in their friendship. And it was almost like we were always in on a very specific, tiny inside joke that friends would be on, right? But because of that information that we know, there are cool parts in the film that kind of tells us certain parts of the story without being very obvious about it. So I really like how they went about that and how they were so subtle with it, right? But let's not kid ourselves. Zendaya is the star here, okay? She is the main attraction. She is the main draw. She clearly commands your attention whenever she's on the screen. But I gotta tell you, and I didn't see this coming, Zendaya is a whole villain. To me, she was a whole villain. And I'm talking about in how she portrayed her character. I mean, she was the embodiment of toxicity to me. I could never date somebody like her, basically. But it also makes her character so much more intriguing, right? Like you're so just into how messy she is. I mean, I found myself constantly questioning her character's motives. I'm like, yo, what is she really up to? What is she really thinking? But Zendaya did an excellent job of making me believe that she was that problematic. Now, besides that, I really like the themes that were played into this film. I really like the one about the nature of tennis. So like one of the themes is like, it's not really about who wins or loses or how many points are scored, but rather knowing your opponent through a match. So for some of my anime fans out there, you would see stuff like this in an anime, probably like in Dragon Ball Z, where Goku would be like, nah, I need to see this person at full power so that we can really see and know each other, or I want to see this person go all out because I get to know this other fighter by fighting them. So this movie does a pretty good job of capturing that, but with tennis. So I thought that was actually pretty interesting because when you see the different tennis matches and the different aspects, you see how like the players kind of interact and how they grow with each other in a certain sense. And that was actually pretty cool to see. But that's it. Now for some of the bad. Part of my issue, I guess, I don't know. I'll say this, at least from a minor standpoint. I was not a fan of the directing choices when it came to some of the cinematography. So, for example, there are times where we get certain camera shots where we are the player and we're hitting the ball back and forth. Then sometimes we are the ball getting hit back and forth. And if I'm being honest, I was getting tired. I was like, yo, stop. Like, I'm getting dizzy. I don't like this. This is not really helping the story. Please just show me the players playing. I don't really care for all this back and forth like that. It's not that great. So minor issue, but the bigger issue had to be in the storytelling. And again, this is also in the cinematography because the way the film is edited, we constantly go back and forth in time. We're constantly learning the characters when they're younger, when they're in college, and then we go forward when they're older. And oh my God, it gets exhausting. Like, listen, it's fine if you're telling us a story in present day and we need to go back 10 years to find something out. But this movie started to get really abusive and obnoxious with it. One day we're going back 10 years. Then we go in 2 weeks from those 10 years. Then we go back to the present. Then we go 3 days before in the present. Then we go 3 months from the 3 days. And then we go back 10 years. But then 4 years after the 10 years, oh my God. Oh my, what the hell? So at some point, it started to get frustrating that there were so many different jumps back and forth. Sometimes they put a time mark and it was kind of easy to follow, but it was getting tiring. It was really getting tiring. And I was just like, yo, can we, like, what is happening? Now, I will say that overall, you will still get the gist of the story. You'll still understand, but I just felt like it got kind of messy with how the storytelling was going. And that to me, it was like, nah, you could have done this better. You could have done this better. Anyway, for the actual reason, listen, Challengers is not what you think it is. I believe that the marketing itself presented it to be some raunchy, crazy, sex-filled type of story about these tennis players. It ain't that. And I think that the send-offs might disappoint some people. But I would say that this was a pretty solid film in terms of depicting a relationship between two friends and one messy, toxic woman. And it was enjoyable for the most part. What I liked the most was the fact that this film managed to find a way to be appealing even for people that might not be fans of tennis. If you don't know the rules, if you don't follow tennis, it doesn't really matter. So I do like that. And overall, I thought that the themes really made the movie worth watching to some degree. So when it comes to my rating for Challengers, I would probably give it a 7 out of 10. It's fine. It's cool. It's a nice performance for Zendaya and the other actors too. But this is not a movie that I would say you have to rush to go see. This is not a movie that, let's just say you're a super fan of Zendaya. I understand. I'll just say that I listen. I understand why you want to come see this movie. I would just say that don't go in thinking it's just that. But overall, it's fine. Matinee at best. Probably wait for streaming. It's all right. It's cool. But anyway, do you plan on watching Challengers when it comes out? Do you plan on seeing it? If and when you do, come on back to this video. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. All right. So that was Challengers for y'all. And I have another review to do for y'all real quick. And that is, let me get it for you real quick. Hold on. Because I actually had to do this one a little later. All right. Civil War. So Civil War is the A24 film that is going to be written and directed by Alex Garland. You might remember him from other films. He did Men, which a lot of people didn't really care for. He was involved with 28 Days Later, which I liked. He did the other Dread movie, which I like that, with Carl Urban. And then he did Ex Machina, which I really liked. I liked Ex Machina a lot. So Alex Garland is a pretty talented director and writer. But he is giving us the movie Civil War. And just to kind of give you a brief intro about it, Civil War is it's a journey across a dystopian future America, following a team of military embedded journalists as they race across time to reach DC before rebel factions descend upon the White House. So, in terms of what was good about this, first and foremost, the acting is absolutely one of the better parts of this film. Kirsten Dunst is probably one of her better roles in a very long time. She did a phenomenal job in this film. I would say that she was a great lead in this film as well. I really enjoyed her performance here. She had some really powerful scenes. You'll know them when you see them. But she plays the hard-nosed reporter, journalist, wartime journalist, and she just does a fantastic job here. And then there was I want to get his name right here, Wagner Moura, I believe. Wagner Moura. Some of y'all might remember him from Narcos. He played Pablo Escobar in a fat suit. I really enjoyed his character as well. He was really good and really solid. I definitely enjoyed what he brought to the table in this very interesting and his character. I liked his character for the most part, and especially when it came to the end of the film. But performances aside, the themes, the theme in this film is primarily about how can I say it? It's the job of a wartime journalist, right? So a journalist that has to be in the thick of things with gunfire, with all this crazy stuff going around. How do these journalists get their job done? And what do they need to do to get it done? I thought that the performances really elevated the themes a lot. And that goes, shout out to the writing as well. That worked. And you really do get to see those themes played out in a very literal way. And that was, I thought, handled pretty well. And then you also have, of course, war. Like it is wartime, so you will see some pretty graphic stuff. So if you are, light on the stomach, if you don't really, if you can't stomach certain things, this might not be something that you want to jump into. But they do have some graphic things, some violence and all of that. And it is absolutely it hits on all fronts in that regard. But I will just say this. I know we talked about war, performances, and all that. This guy right here, Jesse Plemons, steals the entire thing. He probably has one of the best scenes in the entire film. Like, you saw it in the trailer. You saw him, say like, which America are you from and all that. This guy, he understands the assignment every time. And he's, his role in the film, fantastic. Like, just like that scene right there. If you were not paying attention, if you was just kind of laying around, just whatever, that's it. That's it. This is it. So that was good. But now let's go to the bad. The things that I did not like were the fact that even though the themes of wartime journalism and all of that, even though it was executed in terms of letting you know what the theme is, I felt like the film got too reliant on that theme. Now, what do I mean by that? Basically, the movie stopped doing things, in my opinion, that made sense and compromised itself to show off the themes even harder. I don't know if I have like a good example for you, but it basically got to the point where that this is about wartime journalism, and it's almost like the director is beating that theme in your face by the time you get to the end of the movie. All the characters are driven only by the theme. The end of the film is driven only by the theme. And it gets to the point where you're kind of like, wait, what? What's going on? And you might have to do a little bit too much thinking to get around it. It just gets a little extreme. And then I would also say that while the theme and while the main premise is about the wartime journalism, and that's pretty much what you're following with these characters, you also have the issue where the politics are involved, right? Like, obviously it's called Civil War. But the film will raise all these questions and not answer them. So the film will kind of act like it's apolitical, but it will raise a lot of situations where you're going to be like, wait a minute, what was that? Wait, okay. Why did this happen? Hold on. How did this happen? Oh, okay. So like, but the movie doesn't want you to deal with it. So in other words, the movie is like, look at this shiny thing over here with all this war and politics, but don't look at it because I want you to pay attention to these journalists. And you just gonna be sitting there like, wait, but you just said, wait, what? It's a little confusing. So I didn't think that did the film any favors. So let's just go into the reason. When it comes to Civil War, I think that it was a mixed bag of really good technical proficiency, right? The acting is on point, the themes are on point, the writing is strong in some areas more so than others. The directing makes sense. Those things on paper, it works. But man, it really misses the mark when in terms of telling whatever story it thinks it wants to tell to a degree. It wants it to be about the wartime journalism and all that, but at the same time, it keeps throwing all the political stuff in your face. And here's the other thing. The marketing did this movie zero favors. The marketing is so problematic because it's very misleading. You will go into this movie, or at least most Americans will go into this movie thinking, what would make Texas and California join forces? You might not get that answer. Or better yet, you might not get a satisfactory answer. You might be watching this movie and say, why would the president of the United States do that action? Why would this country or why would this state do that action? And this is not here to do that. It's not here, even though everything in the trailer is like, oh, what kind of American are you? Oh, the United States is at war. They keep advertising that this is a political movie, but the movie itself tries to be apolitical. So expectations will be built up, and I think it hurts the film because you might be very distracted with the fact that this movie is not going to scratch the itch that it creates. Okay, like it's the one that raises all these political questions, but it's not going to answer them, or at least it won't answer them sufficiently. And some people might leave unsatisfied. So, I know I did. So when it comes to the rating for Civil War, I have to give it a 6.5 out of 10. I think, again, while it had some good stuff here, very intense moments, and it tries to do what it can, I don't think that it is the masterpiece some people think it is. I don't think it is. I think it kind of misses the mark, but it's still somewhat entertaining to watch. The reason why I can't give it a higher score is I have zero desire of ever rewatching this. The rewatchability, and it's not because of the violence or whatever. It's just I don't care. Whatever the message is that they try to send me, I don't care. I don't care about the journalism or whatever. I don't care about the apoliticism because you didn't give me anything. I understand that maybe I don't know. Maybe the best way I could tell you to go into this movie, if you want to see it, don't go in for the politics. Think about it as the politics are just the background. It's just background noise, but that's not what you're going in for. Imagine yourself not even in America. Imagine that it's the multiverse and you're in a different America with different rules and different situations. That might be the best way you can go into this film and at least get what you can from it. But like I said, it's okay. I would never go back and rewatch it, but I wouldn't discourage anyone from watching it either. Good luck. Anyway, do you plan on watching Civil War? If and when you do, come on back to this video. Let me know your thoughts. All right. Got that down. So now we can go to the last bit. Over the week, CinemaCon happened. And in case people don't know, CinemaCon is basically a big convention. Usually happens in Vegas, where a lot of theater industry people, so the movie studios, the movie theaters, etc., they will go there, and it's a convention for them, right? First and foremost. So this is not like Comic-Con where it's for the fans and stuff like that. No, fans can go. It's pretty expensive, but this is really for the movie industry. people. This is a place where basically the studios can show off their upcoming films, and the theaters, they'll be like, oh, okay, you got that Top Gun Maverick, all right, we might go ahead and put that in all our theaters on the day that it releases. Or, oh, you got that Madam Web, okay, you got anything else? You know what I'm saying? So like that's kind of like where the studios can kind of like make their pitch, they can sell it, and the theaters can make their decision on what they're gonna back or not. So this is obviously a presentation for us to kind of see and get a taste of like what's to come. So each studio, one of the bigger studios anyway. So we have Universal. We'll go over Universal. We have Lionsgate, Disney, etc. They all kind of came about. So there's a lot of news with this, and we would probably be here for another 2 hours if we went through every single one. So I am going to kind of go over it as quickly as I can. Of course, if you're interested, you can go through and find other articles and stuff. But I'm just going to kind of brief you guys as quickly as possible on the things that I thought stood out to me anyway. So let's kind of start off with Universal Pictures and see what they got cooking. They got Twisters with Glenn Powell. I don't know why, but Glenn Powell is getting a crazy push nowadays. But Twisters is happening. They showed a trailer there. Again, at this convention, they'll show people exclusive footage, longer footage, probably different commercials or whatever. Despicable Me 4, they're doing something with that. The Wild Robot, I don't know what that is. I don't care. Doesn't look interesting. Looks like Lupita Nyong'o is going to be in it, voicing it. The Wolfman, that's a movie, I believe, with I want to say Christian Bale might be. No, not him. He's not him. No, he was somebody else is going to be in it. Whatever. Wolfman's happening. Wicked, you've probably seen the trailer during the Super Bowl. That's got Ariana Grande in there, with Cynthia Erivo to tell the story based off of the play. Let's see, Nosferatu, that's the Robert Eggers who gave you The Witch, gave you The Northman. He's doing this classic vampire type story. And that's it. I'll be very honest. Universal, to me, gave a pretty weak presentation in terms of the news. Like I didn't really see nothing that I was like, ooh, I can't wait to go see that. A lot of these movies look like they might be okay, but whatever. I didn't see nothing that was going to get the people going. I didn't. And yeah, Twisters definitely look like the better one. I'm sorry. I'm not excited for Twisters. I saw the original Twisters. It was okay. It was cool at the time. That was back when natural disaster movies were like a big thing. I find it very hard to care about double the Twisters because I'm sitting here the whole time like, go to the basement. Find shelter. You want me to feel bad about people that want to chase tornadoes? No. It's the same way I don't feel bad for people that stare at an eclipse. I don't feel bad for y'all because they told you to put some glasses on. They told you not to look at the sun, and you went and did it anyway. I don't care about that. I don't care if that's their job. They chose that fate. I'm not very interested in it. That's all. But anyway, I don't even know why they made this sequel, but whatever. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if that's something that people are interested in. Now we can spice it up a little. Spice it up. Lionsgate. So Lionsgate has a couple of things that I think are pretty interesting. We have a Highlander movie that is coming out. We talked about that before. This one is the one that has Henry Cavill in it, and it's going to be directed by the John Wick director, Chad Zielinski. So that is definitely interesting. Now, Henry Cavill came out during this presentation, and he had this to say. He said during the presentation, I'm a lover of the original movies, for better or worse. It's one of those things where reading the script, I wasn't quite sure where they were going to go. But what he discovered is that Stilinski and the team are going deep into the meaning of these characters, their trials and tribulations. And he goes on to say, if you think you've seen me do sword work before, you haven't seen anything yet. I am immortal. I have inside me the blood of kings. Hey, come on, man. Hit me with that Highlander, boy. Listen, just keep that queen. Keep that theme music. That's all I ask. Keep the theme music. Because some of the Highlander movies were boo-boo. But you're going to give me the John Wick director, and you're going to give me a passionate Henry Cavill. Because, when Henry Cavill, when he cares about something, I feel like he really is going to put, his heart into these things. So, listen, I like this. I'm excited for this. I'm looking forward to this. This I am looking forward to. What else? What other announcements do we have? Then we have a live action Naruto anime. This is going to be Destin Daniel Cretton, or the Shang-Chi director. We talked about that before. Now You See Me, part 3 is coming. And the original cast with a new generation of magicians are coming. I loved the first Now You See Me movie. I loved it. It was so good. So good. I mean, I think back in my early critic days, so don't judge me, I think that was one of the few movies I gave a 10 to. I loved every aspect. First of all, I love magic. Second of all, I loved the story, the fake outs. It was kind of like a heist movie. I liked everything about it. Everything about it. The second one, not so much. The second Now You See Me was not that great. It just didn't hit. So this third one, I'm a little iffy on it, but we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens. Next up, let's see. LionsGate also has a remake of the Blair Witch movie, the Blair Witch Project. That's going to be done with Blumhouse. I don't know how that's going to work. I felt like Blair Witch Project came at a great time where the first person found footage, movies were a real hype type of thing. I don't know how they could make this to the point where they recapture that magic. I don't know how they're going to do that. I don't know if they can do it. But I guess they'll try. I feel like that boat is kind of sailed, but I don't know. Like, did y'all like Blair Witch Project when it came out? I mean, there was a lot of hype. I mean, when the first one came out, it was like, I remember I didn't even know if it was real or not. Like, when I first heard about it, and I was just like, is this real? But nowadays, you already know, like, no, it ain't real, whatever. I don't know. They're going to have to find a different way. My guess, okay, one thing I think they might be able to do, they might have to do something like incorporate modern technology, like, oh, this is based off a live stream. Like if it was a live stream and somebody was doing, maybe that will work. Maybe I'm not saying use influencers, but maybe if it's something in that level, it could be interesting. I don't know. Y'all let me know what it would take to make this interesting for you. Then there's a live action Monopoly movie. Now, I will say that this had my head scratching for me. I was like, wait, a live action Monopoly? How do you make a live action Monopoly movie? But the caveat here is it's going to be produced by Margot Robbie. Now, I don't know if she's going to star in it or not, but she's producing it. And it says here, it's unclear how Robbie and her company plan to spin a narrative story from this two-dimensional world of Monopoly. Like, who are you going to get to play Rich Uncle Pennybags? We don't know. But at the same time, Margot was behind Barbie. She found an interesting way to make a Barbie movie, and it worked. It only made $1 billion. So they believe that they have something interesting enough to make a live action Monopoly movie. I have no idea what kind of story you're going to tell. No idea. Like, I don't know if rich Uncle Pennybags is the bad guy and somebody's trying to buy the block up. I don't know. Is this a comedy? I don't know. But yeah, are y'all interested in that Monopoly anything? Is that something that you'd want to see? Let me know if it is. I don't know. Then there was The Crow. I already told you he's not ashy enough for me, so whatever. The Crow movie, they got the Borderlands. That's the one with Kevin Hart and them. That trailer's already dropped. The Strangers, Chapter 1. That should be coming out soon. I like the first Strangers movie, but this looks like it's going to be a prequel to it, basically how they got to be. Now, this is something interesting. It's called Never Let Go. And this is actually a horror film starring Halle Berry. Now, I don't know if y'all ever saw that movie Crawl. Crawl was that movie with, if I'm not mistaken, that was the one with the alligator. I liked that movie. I liked it with the big old alligator, and the town or whatever was flooding, and the alligator was basically swimming around. And this was like a big old crazy alligator, like a prehistoric looking thing. If you have not seen Crawl, go do yourself a favor and go watch it. Crawl was a solid film. But the director of Crawl is doing this film. And it says here that it's a new horror film called Never Let Go, starring Halle Berry. The story is around only 3 people. Berry's I don't know why they spell her name wrong. Halle Berry's mother, the mother character and her 2 twin sons who live in an extremely unique situation in the middle of a remote forest. They lock themselves indoors and try their best to avoid going outside, except for resources and occasional fresh air. They have ropes tied around their waist at all times when they're outside, which lead back to the house in case they stray too far. The reason why they tie themselves to a rope is because there is a mysterious, monstrous force that lives in the forest. The few glimpses we see of the beast make it look like a pale, human-like demon who can shapeshift. I'm not going to read the rest. This has got A Quiet Place vibes. This has got Bird Box vibes. I'm sold. So, first of all, you had me at Halle. First of all. So I'm going to be there to watch this. And I like horrors. I like these type of films. So I'm there. But does this sound intriguing to you? Does this sound like something you'd like to see? You guys let me know. Let's see. Next up, we have The Gray. The Gray is a Guy Ritchie film. It says here, The Gray stars Henry Cavill, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Isaac Gonzalez as a ragtag team of misfits who come together for a shared mission of fame and revenge. The film's tagline is, when billions are stolen, they're the ones who steal them back. Okay, cool. Sounds like a heist. First of all, I like all heist movies. So if it's a heist movie and y'all got a little Robin Hood, element to it, fine. I'm sold. That's fine. Let's see. John Wick, the ballerina. Remember that movie is coming out. This one stars Ana de Armas as the ballerina. It says here, we see the origins of Ana de Armas's new lead as she's taken in by the Ruska Rome crime family and trained to be an elite assassin. She admires John Wick from a distance as he grows in notoriety in his own story, but doesn't get to actually meet him face to face until she goes on her own adventure. The ballerina travels to Russia to dive deeper into her story or into her history and connections to another rival crime family whom she is seeking to destroy from the inside out. Now, it says the action of Ballerina is on par with the rest of the John Wick franchise, and the spinoff takes place between the third and fourth John Wick films. So I believe it was already confirmed that John Wick, Keanu Reeves, is going to show up in this film, probably for a quick cameo. But you already had me when you said the action is on par with John Wick. If the action's on par, then I will take that all day, every day. So that's a win for me. I'll take it. Appreciate it. I will absolutely be there. Then what else do we have? We have something else that rounded out their presentation, and that was Michael. And Michael, as you know, is the Michael Jackson story, which is going to be directed by Antoine Fuqua. It says here, we then see a montage that goes from the Jackson 5 performing on television to Michael Jackson in his Thriller era. Fans will be excited to know Jafar Jackson sounds just like his uncle, Michael Jackson, nailing all the vocal cadences and when delivering dialogue. Also says here, the trailer directly confirms that this biopic will address the controversy of Jackson's career. So that right there made me feel great. We already know Coleman Domingo is going to be playing Joe Jackson. Nia Long is playing Mama Jackson. And yeah, I told y'all this when this movie was first announced. My concern was going to be whoever you get to play Michael Jackson, can he sound like him? Can he act like him? Because he's so iconic of a figure. We can't, like, everyone knows Michael Jackson. The world knows Michael Jackson. The world is still imitating Michael Jackson. So you can't have a movie where somebody is not hitting it 90%. The way he talks, the way he moves, the way he sings. It's very specific. And we had talked about how the Leaving Neverland director was criticizing this movie for the guy was upset because they didn't show Michael Jackson in bed with little boys. But I do like the fact that you can't really avoid the whole controversy with him and the allegations, but it seems like they are going to address it based off of this description. And let's also not forget the Jackson estate, the family, is behind this film as well. So, everybody's entitled to give their side of their story and their movies and stuff. And, I think they're entitled to giving theirs in this case. Oh man, that was LionsGate. I done forgot to put that up. Anyway, let's move on to. Are there anything in the LionsGate features that you guys are interested in? Whatever you think, let me know. But let's move on to Paramount. So Paramount has got probably a slightly better list, I think. Paramount's out here cooking a little bit. We have a new installment of Scary Movie, the comedy franchise. I have no idea how that's going to work. No idea. Because Scary Movie was based off of making fun of, Scream, the Scream franchise, or I Know What You Did Last Summer and all of that. It was making fun of actual horror films that came out before. But that's because those films were so popular and it was such a trope that they had enough material to make fun of that was recognizable. I don't know if they have that same juice for today, because I don't even know. I mean, unless they make fun of The Conjuring, maybe like the Conjuring franchise. Are there any other really good horror films? I don't know that they can make fun of. But I don't know how that's gonna work. Is that something y'all want to see, the Scary Movie again? What else? Oh, they're doing a live action rated R adaptation of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Y'all. I think I've told y'all this before, but I have been a Ninja Turtles fan since I was a kid. I had all the toys. I had the van, and I also had the van turned into a skyscraper glider thing or whatever. I had all the turtles. I had Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, Raphael. Boy, we would have battles. When I tell you I'd be staying up late at night, and we'd have battles. I didn't have Shredder, but I did have them fight other people together. Great times. The movie, loved the first movie. The first movie was so good, had so much rewatchability, and it clearly was not meant for the little old me because it was way more dramatic. But I still appreciate the first movie today. But man, I know it's not that good, and I don't care because it's gonna live rent free in my head. But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze, ninja, rap, ninja, rap. You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. Go ninja, go ninja, go ninja, go ninja, go. What? Don't let that play. Don't let it play. I will watch the whole thing. I don't care if it's not good. This is a perfect example of liking not good movies. Now, that third movie doesn't exist. I don't care what anybody says. There is no third Ninja Turtles movie. It didn't happen. Ever. But this rated R Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that you're talking about right now, you have my attention. You have my attention. It says Paramount is developing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin, adapting a popular storyline seen in the recent IDW comics as a live-action feature with the intent of making it for an R rating. Tyler Burton Smith, who co-wrote the upcoming R-rated action movie Boy Kills World. I'm sorry. Oh, dang. Sorry. Oh, my God. What just happened? Hold on. Sorry. I don't know what just happened. Thing just went crazy. I got a little too excited there. Okay. Let me get back to it. Let me get back. There we go. All right. Tyler Burton. There we go. Who co-wrote the upcoming R-rated action movie Boy Kills World, and who wrote the 2019 iteration of Chucky horror franchise Child's Play. He is penning the script. Now, in case y'all did not know, The Last Ronin, the story. Why is my mouse going crazy? Sorry. It says here The Last Ronin is about as terrifying as a turtle's tale can get. Set in a totalitarian future New York City, the comic miniseries told of how the Turtles and Master Splinter are killed off one by one by the grandson of Shredder and synthetic ninjas. One turtle manages to survive barely and vows to exact bloody revenge. Now, for those of y'all that have read the comic, please don't spoil it for others. I don't know if they're trying to keep that as a surprise or whatever, but no need to spoil it here. But in the comic, that was the gimmick. That was the trick, which was which turtle actually survived in terms of, out of the four. Now, I kind of guessed who it was, but, that is definitely something that I'm looking forward to. You already had me. With R-rated Turtles movie, because even the original comics for the Ninja Turtles, they were way more mature. So I like the fact, listen, I love it when we get things from our childhood and they grow with us. When they grow with us, I absolutely love it. This is what X-Men 97 is doing. You took my childhood memories and now you're growing with me. You're giving me more mature storylines. I love it. So this right here, man, that Paramount, you have my attention. You have my attention with that right here. So I like that. I I like that announcement. Let's see what else you have. Damien Chazelle movie. I don't care. You have a G.I. Joe and Transformers crossover film. So with that, the G.I. Joe crossover film, Steven Spielberg is executive producing the film. We do not have a director attached yet, even though the idea was given by Stephen Caple Jr., who did Transformers Rise of the Beast. But my issue, Transformers is going to have the producer, Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, blah, 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 the Madam Web guy. The guy that gave us Snake Eyes, the guy that gave us Madam Web, the guy that has such a horrible track record in Hollywood. I do not understand how he is able to continue making movies. He's going to be behind this G.I. Joe Transformers movie. And right off of that, I already know this ain't getting no higher than a 7. I can this is his track record. I looked at this guy's. Do we need to? We don't need to go through it. We don't have time. We don't have to. He's not a good producer. His track record speaks for itself. This is. I don't even think this is my opinion. His track record shows he's not very good at finding talent to make quality films. This feels like a premature swing and a miss. Y'all had me with the Ninja Turtles, and you lost me with this. What else we got? We got a Bee Gees biopic coming from Ridley Scott, so that could be interesting. We talked about Star Trek, the next movie, so we got a Star Trek Origins coming. The Running Man, the remake is happening with Edgar Wright starring Glenn Powell. That could be pretty interesting. So listen, I told y'all Glenn Powell is getting a push. Now, this was the movie that Arnold Schwarzenegger was in. I'll be honest, when I was watching this when I was younger, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I didn't know why he was wearing this weird spandex leotard thing or whatever. But okay, we'll see what happens. And for anybody that didn't know, this was a Stephen King novel. And it says here, King's futuristic novel is a chase thriller set in a dystopian America in 2025. The story centers on Ben Richards, a desperate man who participates in violent reality show called The Running Man in order to win enough money to revive his gravely ill daughter. The show follows Richard being chased by numerous hunters sent to kill him. Now, I don't know if this needed a reboot, but I'm mildly interested. I kind of just want to see how do they update it. What are you going to update? And I like Glenn Powell. Glenn Powell's a cool actor. I wouldn't say he's a movie star yet. But man, he getting a push. My man, shout out to his agent. This dude's in Twisters, and he was just in that Sydney Sweeney movie or whatever, and now he doing it. Glenn Powell working. You listen. I told y'all what it is. You know what it is. It's that jaw. Look at him. He got that American boy, that he got that American look, that white American look, that Hollywood look. You put this square jaw, that's getting him jobs for years. Just that jawline, just that. He got the hair. But you get that square jaw, put him in any role. People are already trying to make him Cyclops. People want him as Cyclops. People want him as Green Lantern. People want him in everything. Because he got that prototypical look. Just the look. I'm not saying he's, like the best looking person. I'm just saying he's got that cookie cutter Hollywood mold of a look. It's almost like Margot. It's like he's the male version of Margot Robbie. Insert blonde woman here. Insert blonde guy here. That's him. He's got the look. He's got it. All power to him. Good for him. What else do we have? We got some more stuff. Paramount be out here, man. They doing some things. They got the Naked Gun remake with Liam Neeson. We talked about that before. There's another original horror movie called Vicious with Dakota Fanning. No information on that. There's a musical from South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone with music from Kendrick Lamar. Okay. Paw Patrol 3. All right. Another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem sequel. Cool. And then there's going to be another animated Aang, The Last Airbender, an animated feature, and this is going to have Dave Bautista as the film's villain. So that should be interesting as well. I think this is the one where they're a little bit more grown up. Let's see. There's a Quiet Place Part 1. Trailer's already been out. I don't think anybody cares about this. Transformers 1. That one is going to have Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron and Chris Hemsworth as Orion Pax or Optimus Prime. And they basically are going to show their origin story of how they were brothers at first and then they become, enemies. Sonic the Hedgehog 3. They just showed them exclusive footage. What else? Gladiator 2. So Gladiator 2 is happening. And we do have a little bit more of a description. It says here, we're then introduced to Paul Mescal's character, who recalls the impact that Maximus had in the Colosseum. That was Russell Crowe's character. And that impact was that a slave could get justice in that arena. Gladiator 2 takes place 24 years after the original. Denzel Washington's character is Lucius's sponsor in the area, or is that arena maybe? And he coaches him throughout the footage, giving him advice and wisdom. So it's cool that Denzel's there. It says here, we're then introduced to Pedro Pascal's character, donning white and gold as he enters the scene riding on a chariot with an entire entourage. It says the arena is even bloodier as the gladiators have to face a 3-headed dog, baboons, and a giant rhino. Finally, it is revealed that Pascal makes his way to the gladiator ring as he faces off against a group. In the end, Pascal and Mescal battle it out. Listen, it sounds like they are tapping into my man Pedro's Dorne days from Game of Thrones. And I'm here for it. I don't know if he still got it, but I don't doubt Pedro Pascal. So I like what I'm hearing from this. Pedro's probably one of the hardest working men in Hollywood right now, next to Glenn Powell, because clearly they getting all the roles. But this sounds interesting. And Ridley Scott is directing it as well. So you guys let me know which one of those things you're excited for. But last but not least, we have Disney/Marvel. They did their presentation here as well. So there were a couple things here that they were basically showing people extended footage. Now, I'm not going to go through the full descriptions of everything, mainly because y'all know I don't really like spoilers like that. And, if they show it in a trailer later, fine. But sometimes at these events, they do show more footage than normal. So I'm not going to go through every single thing here. If you want, you can go read it on your own, but I'm just going to give you a gist of some of the things that happen throughout this presentation. So for Disney/20th Century, they got an extended cut of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Looks like they got 13 minutes of extra footage. And then, of course, Deadpool and Wolverine. Now they got 9 minutes of footage from Deadpool and Wolverine. From what I gathered, from what I read here, again, I'll try and help some of y'all with the spoilers. They just showed what looked like to be the beginning of the movie, with Wade, the birthday party, basically what you saw in the trailer. They probably got the beginning of that, obviously the TVA coming in and, getting them or whatnot. It does say here that Wade gets a complete suit upgrade via the TVA, which includes adamantium swords. So he has swords similar to Wolverine's blades, or his claws. So that's cool. Now, of course, we get some fourth wall bending here where, Deadpool runs to the camera, smashes the lens with his forehead, grabbing the mic out of frame, saying, "Suck it, Fox. I'm going to Disneyland." He says some other things. But basically, this is exactly what I would hope for from Deadpool. I've told y'all this before. Deadpool is that type of franchise where you don't want to give away all the jokes. You don't want to give away, a lot of the movie. You don't want to give away the cameos either. Just let them cook. If you want to sit here and advertise the film, advertise the characters, do some quirky things. There was a reference here about how Wolverine and Deadpool are driving in a car and they're talking to the audience, telling them to get off their phone. Great. If that's fine. Market the characters, market their personalities. We'll come for the movie later. So I'm very okay with that. I even heard that Kevin Feige was out here cussing and stuff because he was like, "This is R-rated." And okay, Kevin, I never really thought I'd see or hear Kevin cussing like that, but okay, all right. We got Inside Out 2. They got some more footage with that. I believe they said here one of the interesting things is that they have the creation. They're doing beliefs now that are going to contribute to her growth. So this movie is definitely going to be doing some things that I really liked from the first Inside Out. We got Alien Romulus. We did our trailer reaction earlier a couple weeks ago. I cannot wait for this. Fede Alvarez got me excited. The trailer got me excited. So that definitely looks like it's going to be cool. They got Moana 2 coming out where it's going to take place with an older Moana. So that should be interesting. Then, of course, y'all favorite movie that y'all looking for, Mufasa, because everybody asked for a Mufasa movie. The Lion King. It says here it starts off on a snowy mountain with a pride of lions lying under a bunch of giant icicles. Rafiki narrates this story and describes it as being about a lion who will change everyone's lives. We see a young Mufasa rise from the rocky desert, and Rafiki describes him as a lion who was born without an ounce of nobility. Now, Barry Jenkins, who gave us Moonlight, and Beale Street can talk. If Beale Street could talk, Barry Jenkins seems to be taking the audience through a variety of new exotic locations. So the big draw here for this Mufasa movie is, yes, we're going to see his origin story. We're probably going to see him and Scar together in some capacity. And it seems like we're going to be seeing them in different locations doing different things, whatever. But one thing here that we got was the creme de la creme, y'all movie, Captain America, Brave New World. And it says here, we see Sam Wilson meeting Thunderbolt Ross, aka, played by Harrison Ford, who is now the president at the White House. Ross is asking to meet with Wilson so he can reunite the Avengers with the new Captain America at the forefront. He's looking to unite forces, but he might have some ulterior motives unknown to everyone else. Of course, later on, a mysterious villain takes over the speakers and controls the minds of Secret Service agents and Isaiah Bradley, who Sam struggles to pin down in a fight. We see Sam getting attacked at the White House as well. Couple issues here. Where do we begin? So first, there was, and if you follow me, you probably saw what I said on the socials. There was a line mentioned in this about how Sam walks up to Thunderbolt Ross and he was like, "You look different." And Harrison Ford is like, "Yeah, I shaved off my mustache." Now, just keep in mind that William Hurt passed away, and he was recast with Harrison Ford. And it's very interesting how Marvel found a way. Marvel found a way to address the changing of this character. I'm sorry, the changing of the actor. And no one has not a single issue with it. Not one. The same way nobody ever blinked when Terrence Howard and Don Cheadle switched. I mean, we was like, oh, he's not coming back? Okay. Oh, well, anyway. But I just found it interesting that no one's talking about the legacies being tarnished of this deceased actor. And, I remember, because I was there. There was a time when people really thought there's no possible way that Marvel could ever address the recasting of an actor. There's no way that we could be okay with it in this fictional world. There's no possible creative way that Marvel could deal with a recast. Ralph Boner. So I thought that was interesting. And then now y'all want to bring back Isaiah Bradley, the Black Captain America, and y'all gonna have him fight Sam? Y'all just couldn't wait for the black on black violence, huh? Couldn't wait. But I don't know if y'all caught this. Y'all don't know if y'all caught this. Y'all didn't. Y'all must have caught this. Yeah. Let me go back to it because it said it here. A mysterious villain takes over the speakers and controls the minds of Secret Service against Isaiah Bradley, whom Sam struggles to pin down in a fight. You got a whole movie and you still ain't learned how to fight, bro? You got a whole... Sam still can't fight. I know Isaiah Bradley is a super soldier. I get it. I'm just saying, you got the shield now. You still can't fight. Why you got the shield and you can't fight? Sounds like my man Sam is about to have a hard time. He's going to have a hard time probably this whole movie. Man, that's got to suck. Now, one other thing I want to say, during the presentation, Kevin Feige had mentioned that Captain America Brave New World had Winter Soldier vibes. I don't know if Kevin Feige's ever going to see this, hear this. Hold on, let me make sure I get this clear because I want to make sure there ain't no distractions. See me, we got to get this straight. I don't know if Kevin Feige's ever going to see this. I don't know if anyone at Marvel's ever going to see this. But I beg of you, please, when referring to Captain America 4, do not mention the Winter Soldier movie at all. This is probably going to be the best advice you can get because I understand you could be referring to the tone or the feel or the energy, but you have to understand the implication of the word association of Captain America 2, Winter Soldier, which is arguably a top 5 best MCU movie out there. Some would say top 3. With Captain America 4, you are going to have people expecting that movie to be just as good. And for a movie that just had 3 major reshoots and you had to call a whole other consultant to damn near rewrite those action sequences because the test screenings didn't go very well, please do not associate Winter Soldier with this film. Do not raise people's expectations. This is going to be similar to when James Gunn and people at WB was like, oh, The Flash, one of the greatest superhero movies I've ever seen. Don't do this. Do not set this movie up for failure. It already has its own challenges. You already baked it up with a whole bunch of Hulk characters. Do not put this unnecessary burden on Captain America 4, Brave New World. Just gonna set this up for failure. I know it is. I know it is. Like, listen, it's just, if you're going to say something like that, let us make that. Like, let us make that proclamation. Let us watch the movie and be like, man, this was just as good as Winter Soldier. Don't come out and say that ahead of time, because now it's Winter Soldier or bust. That's the bar. And I know he might not mean that, but I know people are going to anticipate that if that quote keeps getting circulated and people keep talking about it. So the last thing they need is that kind of issue. But one other thing that was mentioned during the Disney Marvel presentation was about Thunderbolts. And something kind of was strange about the title. And if you can see here in the title, it's got an asterisk on Thunderbolts. And according to Kevin Feige, he said, yes, you'll notice the asterisk in Thunderbolts. That is the official title of Thunderbolts, and we won't talk about that until after the movie comes out. So we got a Thunderbolts movie with an asterisk, but what does the asterisk mean? And that's the current mystery a lot of people are thinking about. I'm kind of curious about it. I think if I had to just do a spitball theory right now, I think the asterisk is probably going to be because they're in a different universe. I think what we will get is a Thunderbolts, but in the multiverse. And the reason why I say that is Deadpool takes place. That's going to be the first movie in it. You know, it's going to be the first movie outside of the 616. Fantastic Four, it's looking like it will also take place outside the 616. I wouldn't be surprised if Thunderbolts also takes place in a different universe, and maybe the asterisk will be something like 834, universe or something like that. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But y'all let me know, what do y'all think about the Thunderbolt situation? What do you think about the Captain America 4 news? What do you think about the Disney Marvel presentation? Whatever you think about CinemaCon and all these updates, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right. Riga, what you got? Based on that bar from J. Cole's about Ryan Coogler, I think the movie will involve the police interaction with black people song Ready 24 Karat Cameron. Oh, okay. All right. I don't know what bar that is that you're referring to, but all right, I'll take your word for it. Fine by me. Hold on. I gotta give some thanks real quick to my man Sean. Thank you, Sean, for the $10 Cash App. I'm sending some love right back. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for that. There was no Blade information from what I saw. Outside of the fact that there was a rumor that Blade was going to start production in the fall, and there was another rumor that Blade, a lot of the cast might have been recasted or they left, except for Mahershala Ali. So I don't know. If I get something more solid on Blade, of course, I'll go ahead and share that. But guys, that's it for today. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Again, I know y'all could be anywhere, but you chose to be here. That means the world to me. So thank you. Thank y'all so much for all the support. That also means a lot. Hold on. Riga, what you got? Do you know when the Deadpool watch party will be? Absolutely. The Deadpool watch party will be the Thursday of release. So whatever that day is, that Deadpool comes out, July 20, whatever, it will be that Thursday right before, because I try to get the very first showing around like 7 o'clock, 7:30, something like that. So that Thursday, on the day of release, on the week of release. So if it comes out on that Friday, that Thursday is the watch party. I'll send out, signups and all that stuff later when we get closer to the date, because I want to actually secure the theater first and know how many tickets I have first. But Thursday before it's going down, we are absolutely going to watch Deadpool. The watch party is going to be great. But thank you so much for that. But yeah, guys, Wednesday we'll be meeting up here again for X-Men 97. Please stay tuned. I just got my interviews from the creators. I got some interesting things that I think you guys will want to hear. Y'all know I don't play with these interviews, so we got some stuff to talk about with that. And then they broke my heart. They broke my heart with some things. But they answer some of y'all questions, so I think you'll like that. So make sure you're tuning back in on Wednesday, 7 p.m. standard time, so we could talk about X-Men, and then come on back next week on Friday so we can do this all over again. But anyway, guys, you know the routine. Please wash your hands, wash your butts, and everything in between, and have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you guys later. Peace.